Yo, what's up, everyone? Back with another intense What If? Today, we're diving into what if Naruto was the reincarnation of Kokushibo. Picture Naruto, not just the Jinchuriki we know, but with the power, techniques, and eerie presence of the Upper Moon one from Demon Slayer. How would this dark and powerful legacy shape his journey? Would he become a savior or a force to fear? You already know this is going to be epic. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're hyped for more. Alright, no more waiting. Let's get straight into the story. It was a regular day in the village hidden in the leaves. But deep inside, everyone hides dark secrets. October 10th, at an alley, we see a 5-year-old blonde kid with a ponytail and bangs around his side, wearing a white and black kimono tied to around his waist. Beaten, bruised, and to the point of unconsciousness. I hate it, said Naruto as he tries to get up but ultimately fails. I hate this feeling. I hate being powerless against those morons. I'll become strong, and when I do, I'll change this world, said Naruto before passing out. Naruto wakes up, seeing water beneath him, and in front of him was a large cage and a paper in the middle of the cage that read, "Seal." In front of him, he was about to touch when someone spoke. "You're my reincarnation. You're too weak to be my reincarnation." He turns around startled. When he does turn around, he sees a man wearing a white/black kimono, wearing a white belt, a black hakama, a sword with a scabbard covered with eyes, has 3 eyes and a distinctive mark around his head, and his hair black and some red hair color which was tied in a ponytail that reaches his back and has 2 bangs around the side of his face. Who are you?" replied Naruto, a little frightened seeing this man. The man stood there silent for a minute before replying, "As I told you before, I am your reincarnation. You may call me Kokushibo or Michikatsu Tsujikuni." "What are you?" said Naruto. "I'm a demon," said Kokushibo impassively. "Is that the reason why everyone calls me a demon?" asked Naruto, becoming upset. "No, it's because of him," said Kokushibo, pointing his finger to the cage. Inside the cage was a giant fix that had 9 tails. It was the Kyuubi that destroyed the village years ago. "I know nothing about this world except for one thing. It's the same as my world, but there's been a lot of bloodshed in this one," said Kokushibo. Naruto stood there not saying anything except for tears running down his eyes. "Why the hell are you crying?" Kokushibo asked, annoyed. Why? Why does everyone hate me? What have I done wrong? All I've want was to be a shinobi and feel loved. They all want to see me dead," said Naruto as he finished screaming his heart out. "You can never die," said Kokushibo as Naruto was finishing crying. "Huh," said Naruto, confused of what he meant. "The only way for you to die is if your head is cut off. Even I said that you aren't a demon, you are. My blood is running through your veins," said Kokushibo. "You're strong, but you're too blind to see it." Naruto stood there patiently waiting for the man to continue. "They all want to see you dead, but it's better to see them dead instead of you. I will train you." Naruto perked up at the man with his eyes sparkling at him. "I will train you." "Oh, really?" said Naruto as he looked at Kokushibo with hope. "But I shall let you know this. Your training will be hell, understood?" "Yes, sensei," replied Naruto, standing straight. "Good, now go home," replied Kokushibo. Then everything turned black. Hey kid, wake up." Naruto groaned as slightly after opening his eyes to see a man wearing a dog mask and gray hair. "Who are you?" asked Naruto. "It doesn't matter, go home, the stranger," said the stranger before he vanishes. "Why do I bother?" said Naruto, annoyed, knowing he wasn't going to get an answer from the person who'd been watching him. Time skip, 7 years later. It's been 7 years since he met Kokushibo. Since then, he started practicing and mastering moon breathing. He has mastered 4 forms and is still crafting the other ones. During the past years, his body grew and was well built due to physical training. He grew cold and never cared for anyone but himself, since no care for him, what was the point for caring for them? He learned swordsmanship and was on top of his class while Sasuke was in 2nd place. Naruto had some fangirls, but he avoided them because he saw them as weaklings and waste of space that have no purpose in this world. He's fused with Kokushibo, turning him into a demon, but he's able to switch forms. He uses his human form when there's sunlight, but when it's dark, he turns into his demon forms. He's trying to master 4 forms and crafting his next one. Now he's trying to go beyond that. Graduation day. Naruto is sitting down looking at the window, holding his katana, staring out of the window, waiting for the day to be over. He was wearing a black/purple kimono, wearing a white belt to his waist, wearing a black hakama. Let's get this over with already, thought Naruto as he was waiting for his turn. Next up, Michikatsu Tsujikuni. Please perform a shadow clone, said Iruka as he's standing next to Mizuki. Naruto sighed and did some hand signs before muttered, "Shadow clone jutsu," and 4 clones pop into existence before dispersing. "Good job, you passed," replied Iruka while Mizuki was silently seething, but Naruto didn't care. He took the headband and walked away. After graduation, Naruto was sitting on top of the Hokage's head, meditating. When he was finished, he walked back to his apartment before sniffing a presence across the forest. He followed the scent. After he made it, he saw Iruka on the ground bleeding, while Mizuki was standing with a scroll on his back. "Why, Mizuki?" Iruka stuttered as he was in pain after a large shuriken stabbed his back after catching Mizuki stealing the scroll of sealing. "Ha ha ha, why? I'll tell to become stronger so I can follow my lord Orochimaru," Mizuki said, grinning like a madman. Before Mizuki could finish off Iruka, he quickly dodged away from a blade that was about to cut his arm off. He looked at the person who tried to kill him, then he saw the demon. Well, if it isn't the demon." Mizuki spat in disgust while Naruto did not care, not even the slightest. "You're threat to this village, and threats like you should be put down," said Naruto with no emotion on his face. "You want to know why everyone despises you?" screamed Mizuki, while Iruka's eyes widened in fear. "No, Mizuki, it's forbidden," screamed Iruka. "The reason why everyone hates you, because you're the prisoner of the 9-tailed fox, the one that destroyed our village years ago," said Mizuki, hoping to see the satisfaction of the demon brat losing all hope. "Are you done? Your voice is annoying," said Naruto. He clearly was bored and annoyed and wanted to finish this quickly. "You already know. Well, whatever. Die," screamed Mizuki, throwing the large shuriken at Naruto. Naruto dodged the shuriken and slashed Mizuki at the chest, killing him. Iruka looked at Naruto in shock because that was his first kill. "Are you alright, Naruto? That was your first kill," Iruka said, worried about Naruto. "I'm fine, sensei. All I did was kill a traitor, nothing else," said Naruto before blitzing away. The third Hokage saw the events through his crystal ball and sighed while puffing out some smoke. He knew Naruto grew stronger than the rest of the genins, but when he asked him to tell him how he became powerful, he refused to tell him. Eventually, he stopped associating with him and blocked out everyone in his life. "I must be wary if Naruto decides to betray the village. It will be disastrous for him and everyone else. I have to stop him myself if necessary," thought Hiruzen. Next day, teams. It was the day for teams to be chosen by their new senseis. Iruka started to say the people's name of the teams. He stopped paying and looked at the window. He heard his name and who his teammates were. The Uchiha Emo, the pink annoying Banshee, his sensei, Hatake Kakashi. This infuriated Naruto. He was paired with those two of all people. "Why am I paired with these weaklings? Can they even beat me in skills?" questioned Naruto. "They can't," replied a voice in his mindscape. "Kokushibo sensei," said Naruto respectfully to his teacher. "Maintain yourself and grow. Learn from them and study them. Use that to your advantage," said Kokushibo. "Yes, sensei." After 3 hours later, Kakashi walks into the room and looked toward to his genin team who weren't happy with him. "My first impression of you three. You're all boring," said Kakashi blandly as his student looked at him annoyed. "Meet me at the roof." Before Kakashi stops mid-sentence looking at the room, "Where is Naruto?" questioned Kakashi. Sasuke and Sakura turned around to see Naruto wasn't there. "When did he leave?" thought Sasuke. He saw Naruto standing there a moment ago. Now he vanished. How did he leave? That was way too fast for a normal genin. Thought Kakashi. He knew Naruto was fast, but never expected to be that fast. Sakura looked at the two in confusion. Why are they making such a big deal about it? Thought Sakura as she thought Naruto left early. "Okay, meet me at the rooftop," said Kakashi before body flickering. Sasuke and Sakura walked to the rooftop. They saw Kakashi standing next to a railing and saw Naruto sitting with his eyes closed. "Now then, everyone's here. Why don't you introduce yourselves?" said Kakashi. "I'm Sakura Haruno. I like a lot of things." Looks at Sasuke. "I hate Naruto and Inapik. I hate you as well," thought Naruto. "And for my dream for the future is..." Looks at Sasuke again, squeals. "Great, I have a fangirl," thought Kakashi in disappointment. "Alright, your turn, Emo," pointing at Sasuke. Sasuke grunted at the nickname, but continued. "I'm Sasuke Uchiha. I don't really like anything in particular. I don't have anything to hate except a certain person. My dream is not an ambitious or goal. I'm going to make it a reality by killing a certain someone. Sakura looked at him admirably, Kakashi already knowing who it was, and Naruto didn't care one bit. And finally, it's your turn, pointing at Naruto. My name is not Naruto Uzumaki. That is a name I had abandoned with my so-called parents. My name is Michikatsu Tsujikuni, a name that I took from my ancestor or sensei. What I like is ramen, swordsmanship, coffee, and peace for myself. That's it. What I hate the most is this pathetic village and my teammates. I don't care for anyone but myself. And for my dream, well, my dream is to become powerful and make those who look down on me worship me and beg for mercy, said Naruto. Kakashi was shocked by Naruto's introduction. What has this village done to you, Naruto? Thought Kakashi in dismay. To think something like that and for him to abandon his real name. Minato-sensei, Kushina-senpai, I'm sorry. I'll try and make this right. The question is, will he work with his teammates? Even though he hates them, thought Kakashi. Okay, then let's get started on the test. As he was about to explain the test, he was interrupted. Wait, you didn't introduce yourself, said Sakura. I don't care if he didn't introduce himself. We are done, said Naruto coldly as he walks to the railing and jumps off, leaving the three of them behind. He really is cold, thought Kakashi. I'm Kakashi Hatake. What I like, well, that's none of your concern. What is dislike is not your business. Dreams for the future? Never thought of one. Be at Training Ground 7 by tomorrow at 6:00. And by the way, don't eat breakfast or you'll throw up, said Kakashi before body flickering away. Sasuke got up and started to walk away, only for Sakura to follow him and start asking him if they can go on a date. While Sasuke was lost in his thoughts. Naruto or Michikatsu, it doesn't matter. He and I have the same goal, to get stronger, thought Sasuke. That's it, wait for the next one. And please share this story with your friends. Training Ground 7, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were waiting for their sensei to arrive. Sasuke was standing still in his thoughts. Sakura was admiring Sasuke, thinking how cool he was, and Naruto was meditating. 3 more hours go by. Sakura couldn't take it anymore. Where the hell is this guy? Said a screeching Sakura. As she was fuming in rage and pulling her hair, Sasuke still stood there, but a close look to her, his right eye twitching in annoyance. Naruto was still standing there meditating, ignoring the two of them until smoke appears in front of them. Yo, sorry I'm late. A black cat came across me, so I had to walk to the other side of the village, said Kakashi while holding his hand to the back of his head with a sheepishly look. Liar, screamed Sakura while pointing her finger at him, while Naruto and Sasuke ignored her. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Said Kakashi while grabbing 2 bells. This is the test. The 3 of you will come at me with the intent to kill. If you manage to grab a bell before the timer runs out, you pass. If you don't receive the bell before the timer runs out, then you'll be tied to a log with no lunch, said Kakashi in a bored tone. Now, start, said Kakashi as he pressed the button, making the 3 of them hide into their hiding positions. Sasuke hid in the trees, Sakura hid inside some bushes, and Naruto was hiding somewhere in the forest. Kakashi sneezed the 2 of them, but couldn't sense where Naruto was. He was about to search for him when he sensed a person behind him. He turned around, only to dodge at the last second after seeing a sword coming down at him at a fast rate. He quickly dodged to the side, only to get stabbed in the stomach, only to disperse into smoke and turn into a log. Substitution jutsu, thought Naruto in annoyance while looking for Kakashi. He smelled the air looking for Kakashi's scent. He found it, and turned around quickly and saw that Kakashi was 7 meters away from him. Well, you're quite fast, remarked Kakashi as he was reading his book, not paying attention to Naruto. Naruto stood there silent, not saying anything to Kakashi for a minute or 2 until he spoke. There's no talking when you're in battle, said Naruto as he narrowed his eyes at him and slowly grabbed the hilt of his sword. Quite cocky. You think you can beat me, said Kakashi looking up from his book. Without a shred of doubt, said Naruto as he blitzed towards him. Moon breathing first form, dark moon, evening palace. Slashed crescent moon shot out simultaneously towards Kakashi, cutting his body to pieces, only to see shreds of wood. Naruto clicked his tongue in annoyance before he'd shunsen out of the area. Meanwhile, Kakashi was in a nearby tree crouching, while pondering on his thoughts about Naruto's technique. What was that technique? Thought Kakashi, still puzzled of what jutsu his sensei son did. Evening palace, what kind of jutsu was that? Kakashi jumped out of the tree, still lingering in his thoughts, while he sensed a presence behind him. He turned around and saw was behind him. "Ho, another person who thinks he can defeat me all by themselves," said Kakashi, angering Sasuke a little bit. "Don't compare to Sakura or Naruto, I'm stronger than them," said Sasuke arrogantly. "No, you're stronger, but Naruto is the strongest out of you two," Kakashi said blandly, to which Sasuke lost his patience. He rushed at Kakashi with quick speed. He threw kunai and shuriken at him. He dodged by jumping sideways. Sasuke jumped, threw out his left leg, and tried to kick him, but only for Kakashi to grab it and threw him backwards. Sasuke quickly did a backflip and landed 8 meters away before doing some hand signs. "Fire style, fireball jutsu," shouted Sasuke. As a giant ball of flame shot out of his mouth and darted towards Kakashi. "Impossible, a jutsu that big takes too much chakra," thought Kakashi as the jutsu hit him, then turning the ground into a crater. The smoke cleared and saw that Kakashi wasn't there. Sasuke looked around cautiously, trying to find out where he was. Where he'd go? Above me? Behind me? Sasuke was too busy in his thoughts as a hand grabbed him by the leg and pulled him under the ground, only leaving his head. "Earth style, headhunter jutsu," said Kakashi as he left Sasuke underground before body flickering away. Meanwhile, Sakura was running to where the fire was, hoping her Sasuke-kun was safe. "Sasuke, where'd you go? Don't tell me Kakashi-sensei caught you already," thought Sakura as she was running. Then she'd stopped and hid behind some bushes, seeing her sensei standing there reading his book. "He's just standing there?" thought Sakura as she stared at her sensei, who was standing completely still. "Psst, hey Sakura, behind you." "Huh." Sakura turned around to see Kakashi standing right next to her. "Ayaha!" screamed Sakura before Kakashi places her in a Jinjutsu, making her pass out. "Oh, what happened?" said Sakura as she woke up. As she checked her surroundings, looking to see where her sensei was, until she heard a voice. Saku, R.A. She heard a weak voice behind her. She knew who the voice belonged to. "Huh, Sasuke-kun." She turned around only to see her precious Sasuke-kun in disarray. He lost his left arm, kunai, and shuriken all over his front and back. His left leg twisted. This horrified and mentally scarred he to the point where she screamed and passed out on the ground, not realizing she was in a Jinjutsu the entire time. "I guess I went a little too far, even though this was a D-rank Jinjutsu," thought Kakashi while sitting on a tree. Even though the records he got from the academy said that she averaged use of Jinjutsu. A sword flying towards him quickly stirred him out of his stupor. He quickly dodged away to another branch, leaving the sword embedded into the tree. "Huh, can't catch a break, can I?" thought Kakashi while sweat was dripping from his head a little. He saw a blitz, then saw Naruto pull his sword out of the tree and placed it back in his scabbard. This confused Kakashi. "Aren't you going to use your sword and that technique?" questioned Kakashi while pulling out a kunai and lifting his headband up to show his Sharingan. "As much as I wanna, but no, I will save my other techniques for later purposes. In the meantime, I'll show you more arsenals I have up my sleeve," said Naruto as he did some hand signs. "Futon, Kazaha no Erasure, Wind Style, Wind Blade Tempest," said Naruto as 10 to 20 blades made out of wind started to form around him. 10 blades shot towards Kakashi while the other 10 were protecting him or waiting for an attack. Kakashi dodged some of them by jumping to another tree and blocking them with his kunai. But it wasn't enough. He was sustaining damage, getting cuts from his left arm and right leg. He quickly jumped down from tree to tree into the ground and did some hand signs. "Doton, Dorihiki no Jutsu, Earth Style, Mud Wall," shouted Kakashi as a wall shot out of the ground, blocking the blades. The wall was slashed by an upward angle, then heard a voice on the other side saying, "Futon, Fuatsu, Wind Style, Wind Pressure." A pressure of wind burst through the broken wall, throwing rubble and chunks to Kakashi. Kakashi blocks the attack with his arms, gets a little damaged, and is thrown back a little. Before Naruto could do some more jutsus, the timer rang. "Time's up. You 3 failed the test. You must head back to the academy," said Kakashi. He went to get the bells only to find them missing. "Are you looking for these?" said Naruto as he was holding the 2 bells in his fingers. Kakashi was stumped. How did he get the bells? Thought Kakashi as he didn't felt the bells get taken. But he quickly stirred out of his thoughts and saw Sasuke and Sakura. "Well, what are you going to do with those bells?" said Kakashi. Naruto didn't say anything for a minute or two before throwing the bells to Sasuke and Sakura. "They can have it. I could care less if I spend another year at the academy," Naruto said blandly as he was staring at the three of them in boredom. "I don't want it," said Sasuke as he threw the bell at Kakashi. "Me neither. We're a team. And a team always stick together," yelled Sakura. Kakashi stood there silently before I smiling, saying, "You three pass," said Kakashi. Sasuke and Sakura looked at him, while Naruto didn't care in the slightest. The whole point of this exam was teamwork, while you two didn't show it. "Naruto did," said Kakashi. Sasuke and Sakura looked at him, trying to know how he knew but didn't care at all. "Well, I'll be heading out now. See you guys on your first mission," said Kakashi before body flickering away. Naruto was walking away to go back and train before a voice stopped him. "Wait, Naruto," yelled Sasuke. Naruto stopped and glared at Sasuke. "The name is Michikatsu. Get it right," snarked Naruto, annoyed by what Sasuke called him. Sasuke ignored his remark, asked him about his technique. "That technique you used, what was it?" Naruto stared at him only for a minute before saying, "It's my technique that I made 3 years ago. That's all I'm saying," said Naruto before body flickering away. Sasuke said nothing and walked away while Sakura followed him and kept asking to go out on a date with her. Hokage Tower. A bunch of Jounin were standing next to their Hokage ready to tell him the results of the next generation teams. Hiruzen Sarutobi, also known as the Shinobi no Kami, was sitting in his chair smoking a pipe while waiting for a certain silver-hair ninja. "So they can begin the results. Why can't we just start without that lazy bastard?" snarked an angry Jounin, who's been waiting an hour waiting for this guy. Some others agreed until a puff of smoke appeared in the middle of the room. It was Kakashi. "Sorry I'm late. A cat was stuck in a tree, so I went to help it to find its owners," said Kakashi, smiling, while the other Jounin's eyes twitched and scoffed. The Hokage held his laughters as he coughed, getting the Jounin's attention. Report. Team 1 failed. Team 2 failed miserably. Team 3 failed pathetically. Team 4 failed, they shouldn't be in the academy. Team 5 failed, I recommend them being civilians. Irika slumped in his chair, depressed. Some of the students he trained for years just failed. He'd hoped some of his other students passed. Team 6 passed, barely. This caught the Jounin by surprise and Irika off guard, but gained a spark of hope for him, making Irika cries tears of joy, making other Jounin sweat drop from his antics. "Who are the members of Team 6? asked Hiruzen, ignoring Irika while puffing out smoke. Team 6 Sensei Kasumi Nariko is 5 feet 11 tall, thin build, D-cup chest, dark hair strap into a ponytail leaving a bang of hair at her left side, wears a Jounin vest, sleeveless gloves, has a sword to her right side, combat pants, and blue sandals. Ami, Tahizo Kagurashi, and Momoko Kurosaki. Ami is a fangirl, but is good at stamina and able to detect and immobilize traps, and is an average fighter and average genjutsu specialist. Tahizo is hot-headed, rushes into battle without a plan first, but is excellent fighter and is a great at taijutsu and some jutsu. Lastly, Momoko comes from a shinobi family. He's highly skilled in jutsu and taijutsu. He's also a censor, but the only problem is working together. Overall, I think these three will become excellent in the future, said Kasumi proudly. Team 7 passed, said Kakashi. Everyone looked at for an explanation. Teamwork was the only thing that came out of his mouth, making them sweat drop. I will speak with you after the results are finished, said Hiruzen, looking at Kakashi annoyed. Kakashi nodded, and the last sensei began to share their result. Team 8 passed. Kiba, like all Inuzuka, thinks is top elite. Hinata is very powerful but is mostly shy and timid. And Shino is an excellent shinobi, but the only problem is social skills in the team. But I think they would go great as a tracking team, said Kurenai proudly. Team 9 is still a repeat of last year, said Hiruzen, motioning his hand for the next person to go forward. Team 10 passed. Ino is also a fangirl but is able to learn her clan's jutsu. Shimamaru is intelligent but also lazy. Choji is excellent for Battlefront but always eats. Furthermore, I'll try and make them the best team possible, said Asuma with determination. Hiruzen nodded. He ordered everyone to leave except Kakashi. After everyone left, Hiruzen puffed out some smoke and looked at Kakashi with a stern look. Tell me about your team, Kakashi, said Hiruzen sternly. Sakura is a fangirl and is currently lacking in everything. Sasuke is planning to kill Itachi by becoming powerful and arrogant. I believe him to be a flight risk. And Naruto? Naruto is different. He has created a technique called moon breathing and has a high affinity for wind. He has no love for the village and knows his heritage. I believe he is a greater flight risk than Sasuke, said Kakashi sternly. Hiruzen sighed deeply while rubbing his temples. He'd failed Minato and Kushina, failed to keep the promise he made to her, and instead of being the hero he was, they turned him into a monster. I see. Keep a close eye on Sasuke, especially Naruto. If anything happened to consider use immediate action, said Hiruzen stoically. Hi, Hokage-sama, said Kakashi before disappearing into a puff of smoke. 2 to 3 months later, Team 7 was not happy. In fact, they were infuriated. When their sensei said they would go on missions, they weren't expecting doing chores for low-life civilians who are too lazy to do it themselves. They were at the Hokage after finishing their last mission, which almost ended killing the cat named Tora. Their patience were wearing thin when the Hokage said to do another D-rank mission. Then Naruto spoke. Hokage-sama, we want to be assigned to a C-rank mission, sir, said Naruto passively, while trying to hide his annoyance. He's right, we'd like to have a C-rank mission, said Sasuke, while trying to hide his annoyance. Listen here. You can't just ask the Hokage a mission that's above your level, said Iruka while chastising them. But then Hokage spoke. Is your team prepared for a C-rank mission? Kakashi, said Hiruzen. They're excellent when it comes to their mission. Although, a little teamwork could be good in progress. Yes, I believe they're ready for a C-rank mission, said Kakashi. Hiruzen nodded and waved to one of his umbu to send the client. A few minutes later, the client arrived. He was wasted, carrying a bottle of alcohol in his hand. The smell disgusted Sakura. The smell irked Sasuke a bit. Naruto doesn't care. Meet Tazuna, your client, replied Hiruzen while motioning his arm to him. So Hick, these are the so-called ninja I paid for. Hick, you gotta be kidding, right? A girl that has pink hair, a kid who looks emo, and a weird kid with a mark, said Tazuna drunkenly. This earned glares from Sakura and Sasuke, and an annoyed look from Naruto. I can assure you, Tazuna, that these three are the best as the rest of the other teams, Kakashi said, trying to reassure them. Wave country. They've walked on a straight road for 20 minutes. They were about to head into the misty air when Kakashi noticed a puddle beside to a tree. The 5 of them walked past the puddle. Then 2 people shot out of the puddle, grabbed Kakashi in chain, and ripped him apart. Kakashi-sensei, screamed Sakura as her body was paralyzed with fear. Sasuke was about to move, but he hesitated because he was scared to move. Gozu launched at Sasuke and was about to attack him, only to be stabbed in the shoulder by Naruto. Arg! Gozu shrieked in pain as the sword was lodged deeper in his shoulder. Gyozu! Meizu shouted as he towards Naruto, only to be kicked 2 in the face by Kakashi. Meizu fell to the ground and Kakashi summoned a clone to hold Meizu to the ground. Naruto kicked Gozu to the tree behind him. Gozu quickly rushed to Naruto and was about to slash him, but Sasuke quickly moved and jumped, kicking Gozu's hand down to the ground and kicking him back to the tree. Naruto was about to behead Gozu before Kakashi stopped him. Naruto, we can't kill them. We need information about who they're targeting, said Kakashi while reprimanding Naruto, who just stood there silently putting his sword back into his sheath. Sakura, it's alright to get scared on your first mission. Sasuke, it's alright if you hesitate before, but try to make sure it doesn't happen again. And Sasuke, even though you hesitated, you quickly contained composure and helped your comrade. Kakashi gathered the information from the 2 demon brothers. After that, he sealed them away to collect their bounty. Kakashi told Tazuna what was happening and why he lied about the rank on this mission. Tazuna explained that this man named Gato was turning his country into poverty and that the bridge was his only hope left of Gato's tyranny. Kakashi looked at his team and told them that the C-rank mission turned into an A-rank mission and asked them if they wanted to continue the mission. Naruto nodded. Sasuke said yes, and Sakura thought for a moment before nodding but was a little scared. They've walked about an hour in the heavy mist walking to Tatsuna's home. They were halfway there before Kakashi sensed a presence. He looked at the 4 of them before saying, "Quick, take cover now," shouted Kakashi as the 4 of them ducked. A massive blade flew past them, embedding itself on the tree. Then there was a person standing on top of the blade. Kakashi recognized the man. Zabuza Momochi, demon of the hidden mist. So you were the one hired to kill Tazuna, said Kakashi, staring at Zabuza intently while Zabuza was doing the same. Kakashi Hatake, the copy ninja. A pleasure to meet you. Never thought I'd meet you here of all places. This'll be fun. Naruto looked at Zabuza with glee in his eyes. He was about to grab his sword. Before Kakashi spoke, stand back, protect Tazuna. This man is a A-rank Nukenin from Kirigakure, said to have fled for failing the assassination of the Mizukage. He's on a different level. I'll handle him. F failed to kill the Mizukage? Sakura was more terrified now. We can handle him, Sasuke said arrogantly. I'm the one besides Kakashi who can handle him, not you weaklings, thought Naruto, while crossing his arms. Wow, how cute, Zabuza mocked. The little brat thinks he can defeat me. A real ninja. Don't mock me. I'll show you the power of the Uchiha. Sasuke glared at the man. Zabuza laughed. You mean that pathetic excuse of a clan that got their asses killed by one of their own? Yes, I'm really shaken here. Sasuke growled and clenched his fist. The only reason why he didn't charge at the man was because Naruto gripped him by the shoulders, tightly bringing him back to reality. Naruto was troubled by what he did. Why did I save him? Is it because he's my teammate? My Frino, I severed that tie a long time ago. Kakashi lifted his headband, making Zabuza grin. Oh, I get to see the Sharingan so soon? I'm really flattered. Sharingan? But how? He isn't an Uchiha, is he? Sasuke thought as he stared at his sensei. Sharingan? Sakura questioned. A dojutsu kekei genkai that belongs to the Uchiha clan Sakura. I'm surprised someone like you never knew that. Naruto informed her. Sakura didn't have it in her to retort because deep down she knew he was right. Zabuza made the first move. Ox dash, snake dash, ram. Kirigakure no jutsu, ninja art, hidden mist jutsu. A mist appeared starting to spread and surrounded them, thickening quickly to the point they can't see Zabuza anymore. Naruto felt the Kei Zabuza was giving out. It wasn't affecting him, but his teammates begged to differ. Sasuke was feeling the opposite of Naruto. Is this feeling? It's so intense that it's making me shake. He slowly brought a hand holding a kunai to his neck. It almost wants me to end it here now, so I won't have to experience it anymore. He was about to place the kunai in his neck only for a hand to grab his wrist, making him turn to the dark/red head, who looked like he was concentrating to counteract the Kei that was being sent their way. The dark/red head slowly put his hand down without saying a word. Sasuke, Kakashi said, getting the boy's attention, "Don't worry, I'll protect you with my life." He turned to smile at him, making him calm down. Is that so? Zabuza appeared before the Genin and Tazuna, about to swing his sword to cut them down in half, but Kakashi rushed towards him, burying a kunai in the man's side. When he pulled it out, he saw that it was water was flowing out instead of blood. Mizu Bunshin? Thought Naruto and Kakashi as he didn't hear the sound of water. Sensei behind you, Sakura yelled. Before Kakashi could turn behind him, he was cut in half with Zabuza's blade. You should never expect it to be that easy, Kakashi. His eyes widened when he realized it was a water clone, then felt a kunai at his throat. You should have taken your own advice, Zabuza, Kakashi said. Sakura breathed a sigh of relief. Thank God, Sensei's okay. This battle is just a ploy. The real battle will start, thought Naruto while his eyes were showing glee. Zabuza snorted at the remark. So you managed to copy my Mizu Bunshin while you made that speech of yours in the mist? Huh. Not bad. It's over, Kakashi said, bringing the kunai closer to his neck. Zabuza laughed darkly, putting everyone on edge. Do you honestly think I would be beaten to a copycat like you? Think again, another Zabuza said from behind. Another clone? Sakura yelled. Her yelling is annoying as hell, thought Naruto while thinking about killing her and leaving the blame to Zabuza. Zabuza kicked Kakashi through the air, making him land into the lake. Naruto turned his head into that direction. So they've moved to water now? Aichin. Kakashi struggled to get out of the water. Why is this water so heavy? Unless dash. Zabuza was behind him in an instant. Snake dash, ram dash, horse dash, hare dash, ram dash, horse dash, hare, Suiro no Jutsu, water style, water prison jutsu. Sticking his hand out, a water prison appeared around Kakashi, trapping him inside. There's no point in trying to escape. This water's stronger than steel because of how dense the jutsu makes it, Zabuza explained. You won't be going anywhere anytime soon. He created a Mizu Bunshin that turned its sights on the Jinin and Tazuna. Kakashi-sensei's been captured. What do we do? Sakura freaked out. Isn't it obvious? We beat him and rescue Kakashi. Sasuke took a step forward. What a horrible plan, Naruto told him. What? Why? You scared? Sasuke taunted. Maybe you didn't hear Kakashi earlier when he said that this guy is one of Kiri no Shinobigatana Shishinin Shu, 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. He's considered one of the best blade wielders, just like others. Going up against someone like him is suicidal. Not to mention that sword of his Kubikirabocho, decapitating carving knife, isn't just for show, imbecile. Naruto said while Sasuke growled at being called an imbecile. You can't take him on. Forget about me. Take Tazuna and run to safety. Kakashi yelled. Heh, it doesn't matter what they do. Why don't you just sit back and watch me kill those brats, although I might take the ponytail one with me as compensation. Zabuza grinned. Naruto looked at the man surprised. Huh, how interesting. One of the Kiri no Shinobigatana Shishinin Shu, 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, has taken an interest in me. The water clone attacked. Heisenkin. Flying turn slash. It threw the sword at the Jinin and Tazuna, prompting Naruto to act. Doton. Dorihiki no Jutsu. Earth-style mud wall. Naruto shouted as 4 walls made of earth popped out of the ground and stopped the blade before disappearing into a puff of smoke. Tazuna looked at the walls made of earth in amazement. This is amazing. Sakura was inclined to agree, but didn't say it out loud. She was grateful that Naruto placed the wall when he did. Sasuke remembered this jutsu. It was the same Kakashi used to block Naruto's attack. We have to take out the water clone first, then we save Kakashi-sensei. Spoke Naruto after thinking of a plan. You have something in mind? Tazuna wondered. Naruto stood up. Yes, but it involves me and Sasuke doing most of the work though. Fine with me, Sasuke said. Sakura felt a stab to the heart when he said that. Was he trying to say she was too weak to help? Okay, here's the plan. The walls came down and Sasuke was the first to engage with the Zabuza clone, going full taijutsu on it, sending kicks to its head only for it to swing the boy in the air like a ragdoll, but Sasuke managed to set himself and attack again. Rat dash, tiger dash, dog dash, ox dash, rabbit dash, tiger, katon. Hosenka no jutsu, fire style. Phoenix flower jutsu. He sent rapid fireballs at the clone, and just when it was about it heard another shout. Futon, fuatsu, wind style. Wind pressure. A gush of wind sped towards the fire, increasing the flames, leaving a burnt the Mizu Bunshin and sped towards Zabuza, who had no choice but to dispel the barrier. Not bad for a bunch of brats, but not good enough, Zabuza said. Naruto smirked a little. Plan successful, he said, getting a confused look from the ninja. Before Zabuza could retort to that comment, he was kicked in the side and away from the Jinin. Getting his balance back on the water where he was standing, he saw Kakashi free and finally understood what the ponytail kid was talking about. Looks like you underestimate my Jinin, Kakashi said. It's just you and me now. Sasuke stood by Naruto, who didn't look fazed. Then Tazuna spoke. Your plan actually worked? Naruto stood there blankly. Yes, it worked, otherwise we'd be dead. Nice job for protecting Tazuna-san, Sakura, saying the last sentence sarcastically. Why yeah, she said, feeling like she didn't deserve it, and the sarcasm wasn't helping. Zabuza was staring at the Jinin. So I got taken off guard by 2 brats. No, he eyed Naruto. That one right there is different. He stared at black/red head a while longer and noticed something that took him of all people by surprise. Kakashi gave the man a warning glare. I suggest you stop staring at him right now because this will be your last day alive. Heh, we'll see. Zabuza started to make some hand signs. Ox dash, the monkey dash, hare dash, rat dash, the boar dash, bird dash, ox dash, horse dash, bird dash, rat dash, tiger dash, dog dash, tiger dash, snake dash, ox dash, ram dash, snake dash, boar dash, ram dash, rat dash, young water dash, monkey dash, bird dash, dragon dash, bird dash, ox dash, horse dash, ram dash, tiger dash, snake dash, rat dash, monkey dash, hare dash, the boar dash, dragon dash, to ram dash, rat dash, ox dash, the monkey dash, bird dash, young water dash, rat dash, boar dash, bird. Kakashi saw the hand signs and copied them. Suiton, Suryuden no jutsu, water style, water dragon jutsu. They've both yelled at the same time, and two water dragons appeared with yellow eyes before attacking each other at the same time, canceling each other out. Wow. What a powerful jutsu. Sakura stared. Kakashi and Zabuza clashed with Kunai and Blade before Zabuza tried to use Kurigakure no Jutsu, ninja art, hidden must jutsu, again, and saw Kakashi was following his every movement, making him stop. It's as if he knows what I'm going to do next. Kakashi cut him off, making Zabuza's eyes widen. Is he reading my mind? He's looking right at me with that dash. His thoughts were cut off. Freaky look in his eyes. Kakashi cut him off again, almost as he was reading his mind. Zabuza wasted no time and tried to form some hand signs before he stopped, his blood running cold when he saw a shadow of himself behind the jounin. Is that me? Is this a Jinjutsu? Kakashi saw the hesitation and quickly used that time to strike. Tiger dash, ox dash, monkey dash, rabbit dash, ram dash, boar dash, ox dash, horse dash, monkey dash, tiger dash, dog dash, tiger dash, snake dash, tiger dash, ox dash, monkey dash, rabbit dash, bird, swait un. Daibakafu no jutsu, water style. Giant vortex jutsu. Water started to swirl around the ninja. What? How? Zabuza didn't have time to dwell on it long because he was swept by the giant vortex jutsu that thrashed him like a kin rag doll, tearing through the forest, tearing down any unfortunate trees that stood in its path. The Nukenin stood up slowly as his body was soaked to the bone. He stared at Kakashi. Can you see the future? Yes. Kakashi raised a kunai up, preparing to strike Zabuza down. And your future is death? Before he slit the man's throat, two sunbon needles struck the man in the neck, making his eyes widen before slumping over dead. Another person made himself known, stepping out into the clearing, making them known. Stepping out was a young man wearing a white mask with red markings that had a symbol for Kurigakure on it. He had black hair with some of it in a white bun with two strands loose, wearing an outfit that stopped at his knees underneath a green haori with white edges and brown sash wrapped around the waist. You were right, the young man spoke. He's dead now. Sakura's knees were shaking. Who was that? A hunter ninja from Kurigakure no Sato. Kakashi explained, walking over to Zabuza, while at the same time keeping an eye on the young man. Pointing two fingers to the man's neck and felt no pulse. He's dead. I've been tracking down Zabuza Momochi for a long time now and found this to be a golden opportunity. And here I was starting to think I'd never be able to complete my assignment. The young man said as he picked up Zabuza's dead body, who had the blade strapped to his back. The young man bowed his head before disappearing. Naruto wasn't buying anything from the hunter ni. He sensed him watching them the entire time and did nothing. But Naruto kept quiet because he was waiting for a chance to test his strength. Now that chance has arrived. A thump was heard and the four of them saw Kakashi was on the ground, not moving a muscle. Kakashi-sensei passed out, Naruto said blandly. Sasuke and Sakura ran over to Kakashi while Naruto walked behind them. He saw Tazuna walking over his sensei, which was a little weird, but didn't comment. Tazuna-san, would you help us carry our sensei? You got it. Tazuna picked up the man up, hefting him over his shoulders to keep him steady. My house isn't far from here. It's about half an hour. I'll take you there. Tazuna's house. Tsunami, I'm home. Tazuna announced as the genin helped open the door and walked inside the house. A young woman with black hair appeared from the kitchen. Dad, you're home. Oh, do we have guests? Yes, they're ninja hired to protect me on my way back here. Tazuna said, this is Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Michikatsu Tsujikuni. Tsujikuni, said Tsunami, tilting her head at the last name and looked at Naruto, who looked back at her. Is there a problem? And no, of course not. Your name seemed interesting. Please come inside. Oh, he doesn't look good. Dad, take him upstairs. Tsunami told her father. Just then a little boy with a white cap, wearing green overalls, walked downstairs. Mom, who are these people? The boy eyed them. Oh, Inari. These people are the ninjas that helped your Gigi get here safely. Say hello. She smiled. Inari glared at them. They're just going to die anyway. They should just leave. He ran back upstairs. Inari. Tsunami yelled. Sasuke's eyebrow twitched. Sakura looked mad. Who does that beat think he is? Naruto snorted. What a troublesome child. Tazuna brought the man upstairs with the three genin following right behind him. Sasuke opened the door to the room, allowing Tazuna to bring the comatose Kakashi inside and lay him down on a futon. While the students gathered around the unconscious man, "You two can look after him if you want. Looks like he's asleep." The man looked at Naruto, who was sleeping on the wall holding on his sword. The man chuckled and placed a blanket on him. Sakura rolled her eyes. Honestly, how is he even tired? Because he and the other boy did the work, while you did nothing. Tazuna frowned at the girl. She felt like someone drove a kunai to her chest, hearing the client bluntly tell her she did nothing but pulled her own weight during the mission. While it's true she protected Tazuna twice, but that wasn't saying much about her abilities as a kunoichi. What would she have done if those ninjas weren't taken down by Naruto and Sasuke at the time, and one of them managed to slip by them and come straight for her? What would she have done? Stood there and be afraid? Sasuke agreed to what Tazuna said. He and Naruto were basically the ones pulling their own weight into the mission, while all she did was looked sacred and ready to faint. Is she really suitable to be a kunoichi? He didn't know anymore. The next day, Kakashi woke up feeling better after getting a night's rest and wondered where his students were. He'd heard the door open, making him look over to see who was there, and it was Naruto holding a cup of tea. "Naruto, you're awake then, huh?" he said while using the transparent world to see if he was fully healed. Making his way over to give him some tea, Tsunami-san made it. Kakashi took the tea and drank it while turning around to not show his face. Naruto couldn't have cared less if he saw his face. Having finished his tea, he looked at his student. "Where is Sasuke and Sakura?" "Downstairs eating breakfast," Naruto told him. "When I finished mine, I came up here and brought some tea for you." "How very thoughtful of you." Kakashi smiled. "Whatever," Naruto shrugged. The Jounin gave Naruto a serious look. "Engaging Zabuza like that was dangerous, Naruto." "I never engaged him. And besides, it wasn't just me. Sasuke was there helping too. The plan was to go after the clone first, then try to dispel it. When that was done, we tried to force Zabuza's hand in freeing you from the water prison. It worked," Naruto told the Jounin casually. Kakashi blinked. "You thought of a strategy in such a tense situation?" "Yes. You can say I did, but it involved me keeping calm. And it was easy. Being hit with the intent to kill, the hatred. I've dealt with it by those rodents in Konoha," Naruto said darkly. Kakashi frowned at the remark about Konoha. "It's worse than I imagined. Anyways, I'm not foolish to fight a 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist arrogantly. What surprised me is that we managed to free you from that prison. I doubt we would have gotten another chance." Kakashi didn't miss the "gotten another chance" part of the sentence and was about to ask him when Sasuke and Sakura walked in. When they saw their sensei was awake, they were relieved, though Sasuke would try to deny it. "Kakashi-sensei, you're awake." Sakura was relieved to see her sensei was all right and sat down near the futon. Sasuke sat on the other side. "I'm doing fine, just needed some sleep is all." Kakashi smiled at his 2 students before his face became serious. "Now, since you're all here, I feel you should know that Zabuza is still alive." "What?" Sakura yelled. Sasuke looked eager to go up against Zabuza again, and Naruto had that glee in his eyes again. "How do you know?" Sakura questioned, hoping that he was wrong. Kakashi looked over at Naruto. "Did you sense that he was still alive even though he wasn't breathing?" Naruto nodded. "I still felt signs of life in Zabuza even though he wasn't breathing anymore." "What kind of weapon did that hunter use?" "Sunbon." "I see. He's still alive." "What are you two talking about?" Sasuke questioned. "Senbon needles put you in a death-like state if used in the right hands, especially if you get hit in the neck with them," Naruto explained. "That's correct. It didn't occur to me at the time because I was low on chakra and exhausted. Another red flag is that hunter need dispose of the body by burning it so there's nothing left. This one took Zabuza's body along with him as he disappeared," Kakashi stated. The 3 genin took the time to process what they were told. "How long do we have till Zabuza returns for a rematch?" "I'd say about a week, which means you 3 need to train and protect Tazuna during the week we have to prepare," Kakashi told them seriously. Zabuza opened his eyes slowly and faced his partner. "Did you have to stick them into my neck, Haku?" Haku merely chuckled. "My apologies, Zabuza-sama, but I believe it was the smartest move to make in that current situation. Yours." He closed his eyes. "You saw, right?" "Yes. The ponytail seems to be holding back." He didn't took out his sword out of the sheath, as if he was waiting for something. "Yes, that kid seems to remind me of a samurai," Zabuza muttered. The door opened and in came Gato along with 2 thugs. Well, look at this." So this is what the famous demon of the mist has been reduced to? He walked over to the bed and was about to touch him when Haku grabbed his wrist, squeezing it tightly. Haku glared at the man. Keep your filthy hands to yourself. Letting go of the man's head, Gato rubbed his sore wrist. Just get the job done or else. He walked out along with his two guards. Zabuza opened his eyes. I'll get rid of that fat gremlin soon. I'll be there to assist when that time comes. Haku said. Kakashi had them outside where they were surrounded by trees. Naruto felt peace for the first time in years. Before Kakashi ruined it by talking. All right, for training I'll be showing you how to climb trees. Kakashi smiled. Naruto's eye twitched in annoyance. Because he already knew how to do it. Kakashi-sensei, we already know how to climb trees. Sakura was confused. Kakashi gave her an amused look. I didn't mean with your hands. He demonstrated by going over a tree and walking up on it with just his feet man's hung upside down. I meant like this. Sasuke and Sakura couldn't believe it. They've never learned it at the academy. Kakashi jumped down. All right, your turn to try. The three of them got to work and started walking up the tree. Sakura and Naruto had no problem. With Naruto, he trained every day with the Kurama and Kokushibo, but Sasuke was having a little trouble due to poor chakra control. You can do it, Sasuke-kun. Sakura cheered, hoping that he didn't hate her for this. Naruto simply just jumped down and walked away while holding the handle of his sword, much to the confusion his team. Going somewhere, Naruto? I'll be protecting our client. Naruto said, still walking away. Kakashi sighed. This was more problematic than he thought. Naruto and Tazuna walked back to the house with the man sporting a huge smile because of an incident which made him happy. Flashback. Naruto and Tazuna were walking back to the house when they heard a commotion. They turned around to see Gata's thugs threatening a husband and his family. I gave you all the money, said a man while trembling. Behind him was a mother holding two children, an 8-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl holding tight to their mother. Well, too bad. You owe us another grand. Gato's thugs said, smiling darkly. Then the little girl screamed, just leave us alone, you jerks. The little girl screamed, making the thugs frown. What you'd say, brat? The thug started walking towards the little girl, who was starting to hug her mom tighter. The thug was about to grab her until a hand grabbed his hand, was grabbed tightly, making him grunt in pain. While looking at the person who grabbed him, it was a teenager who was 5 feet 12 inches, who had black/red hair, wearing a black/purple kimono with a white belt around the waist, wearing a black hakama, sandal with socks, a sword to his left hip. I suggest you leave. This family would rather spend their time doing something else rather than waste time with pathetic animals like you. The man got out of his stupor and looked at Naruto. What the hell did you dash? The man didn't finish his sentence as he was grabbed by the neck. Hey, let him dash. The other thug didn't finish either as he was punched in the face hard, leaving him unconscious. I'm warning you, I'm not in good mood, said Naruto and released Bloodlust and a little Ki to prove his point, making the family and Tazuna a little scared. Naruto dropped him and pointed his swords at him. Will be your only warning. Take your friend and leave. Saying the last sentence darkly, making the thug quickly shake his head. He grabbed his partner and left quickly. The family thanked Naruto for saving them, but he explained he was someone to rescue this country, and that put a smile to the family and Tazuna's face. Flashback end. Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura were confused as to what happened. Naruto said that he went to guard Tazuna, and they've waited for 50 minutes. Kakashi thought that something must have happened. You took long. What happened out there? Kakashi questioned. Naruto didn't say anything at first, then spoke. Nothing happened, just an argument with one of Tazuna's co-workers. That's all. I see. Tsunami came into the kitchen and smiled. So how did your training go? Are you making any progress? Kakashi answered. Sakura has the technique down. Sasuke got it after a few tries. He looked over at Naruto. I'm surprised you got it that quickly, Naruto. That's because I already knew it. I've been doing them since I was 7 years old, Naruto told him. Sasuke clenched his teacup in anger. I see. Naruto got to eating to end this conversation. He could feel Sasuke's emotions and thought it was wise to not say anything else. He didn't flinch or stop eating when he hears someone slam their hands on the table. The troublesome brat, thought Naruto while still eating. Why do you all bother anyway? You're just gonna die. Gato's strong. There's no way you can beat him, Inari yelled. Sasuke's patience with this kid were wearing thin, and Sakura was frowning at him. Just what was this kid's problem? Kakashi brought his book out, ignoring the kid, wanting to see how his students would handle the situation. Inari turned his attention to Naruto, who finished eating, was glaring at him. And you, just looking at your face, and that mark makes me sick. Why do you even bother trying when you're just going to die? You have no idea what we've suffered, so stop trying to be a hero already. Naruto lost his patience with this brat. He crushed the bowl in his hand and grabbed Inari by the throat, making everyone look at him in horror or gasp in shock. Naruto/Michikatsu. Everyone screamed at him, hoping this would make him stop. He ignored them while holding Inari in the air, glaring at him, making Inari look at him in fear. Naruto. A voice in his mindscape, he knew who it was. Kokushibo-sensei. You've let your emotions get the better of you, he chastised. We'll work on that later. Yes, sensei, said Naruto before returning to the real world, still holding Inari, before dropping him to the ground, still glaring at him. Let that be a lesson, brat. Naruto snarled before pointing at Tsunami and Tazuna. Your mother and grandfather are fighting against Gato by building the bridge to the mainland. He points at Inari. You're weak, but your grandfather and mother are strong because they're tired over Gato's reign over this land and want to end this. That's why they're fighting back. They're tired of being afraid, but you're still afraid, and that's what makes you a coward. Inari didn't say anything, nor did anyone else, not wanting to make him more upset even more. If you don't believe in here, that fine, I don't care. But don't try to sway other people's opinion just because you're scared. We're ninjas, meaning that we're not scared of some rat like Gato who hides behind strong people because he himself is pathetic and weak. Naruto states calmly, just because I look weird and have a mark doesn't mean I'm capable of doing basic things, like walking, cooking, sleeping, and eating. I can still function like a normal person, still fight like a ninja. He was right. They saw the way he fought and knew not to underestimate him. And what you've suffered. Hate to break it, you brat, but ninja have it way worse than you do. We everything before we even start to grow as adults. Someone like you who wouldn't know the first thing about suffering has no right to compare himself to anyone else. Everyone suffers tragedy in their life. It isn't just you. Someone like you knows nothing about us at all. So quit acting like you know everything, because you don't. If you despise the outside world so much, then lock yourself in your room for all eternity and the rest of your pathetic life, and never come out and let the brave people who aren't afraid to appreciate what they have in life or stand up for themselves because they've had enough to handle everything while you rot like a rodent until the day you die. Naruto opened the door and was about to leave before he stopped. Oh, and one last thing. He glared at Inari. Don't start babbling nonsense about suffering, because a brat like you doesn't a single thing anything about true suffering. So don't test me, brat. He growled before slamming the door. Everyone was quiet, not saying a word because of fear of angering him again. Inari had tears steaming down his face, but his grandfather Tazuna showed no sympathy for the boy because he was fed up with his behavior for a long time now. He's right, Inari. Your father wasn't afraid to stand up to Gato and called him out on it. And even though that's what got him killed, he still proved that there are people who aren't afraid of Gato and won't let him have his way with this island anymore. Inari didn't say anything and simply ran upstairs crying. Tsunami looked at her father. Do you think he'll take what you said to heart? Tazuna shrugged. Excuse me, who are you two talking about? Sakura questioned. Inari's father. He was the first person to stand up to Gato, calling him out. Gato didn't appreciate that and publicly executed him and made us all watch, including Inari. Tazuna explained. Sakura was disgusted that Gato could do such a thing. Ever since then, Inari has seen the world in black and white. But his father wouldn't want him to think that it's fine to give up and let people walk over you. I'm glad Michikatsu said what I've been trying to say for a while now. Tazuna looked at Kakashi. Now that I think about it, why did you call him Naruto instead of Michikatsu? Because Michikatsu Tsujikuni isn't his real name, said Kakashi while putting his book down. His real name is Naruto Uzumaki. Why would he use a fake name? Questioned Tazuna. I don't know. He said he got it from his sensei, but I have no idea who trained him or who he is, said Kakashi. Ever since then he became cold to everyone around him, never cares for anyone but himself, never made friends, and wants to become stronger. Kakashi said while revealing some parts of Naruto's past. Everyone stopped talking about him because they didn't want to pester him even more. Haku was wandering through the forest looking for herbs, but instead saw the boy Zabuza was talking about sleeping upright on a tree, holding his sword in his hands. Haku walked over and stared at Naruto. What do you want? Naruto spoke, making Haku flinch. My apologies. I didn't mean to wake you. Haku apologized. It's all right, Naruto yawned as he opened his eyes. I woke up and sensed I was being watched, and I wanted to see what you do. If you don't mind me asking, why were you sleeping outside out here by yourself? Haku wondered. I like sleeping outside, Naruto answered. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, I feel peace. Why are you out here? Haku showed him a basket. I was looking for some herbs to help my friend. He's not feeling very well. I see, Naruto said. Haku smiled. I'm Haku. What's your name? Michikatsu Tsujikuni. It's nice to meet you. Haku smiled at him. By the way, Michikatsu-san, do you have someone precious to you? No, he said coldly. I don't need precious people. They're a waste of time. Haku frowned. Do you have a dream? Naruto blinked before answering. My dream is to destroy the elemental nations and recreate the other countries and small villages to peace, Naruto said without hesitation. Haku frowned even further after hearing his dream. Do you honestly think you could be powerful enough to destroy the nations? Haku asked, furrowing his eyebrows. No, I'm strong, but not yet. What I need is time, and after that, I'll be the most powerful being in this world, said Naruto dangerously. Haku stood up, changing his frown into a smile. Then, don't let go of that dream, Haku said before walking away. Wait, Haku stopped. You're a boy, aren't you? He deadpanned. Haku couldn't stop his fit of laughter. Naruto was guarding Tazuna while he and his companions were trying to finish the bridge, even though they were afraid that Gato might find out they refused to give up. Sasuke and Sakura also took turns in guarding Tazuna and his family. While doing that, their thoughts were focused on their silent teammate and how they truly know nothing about him. Sure, they were in the academy together, but he was distant, cold, and ruthless. He had some fangirls that liked him, but he just ignored them like they were pests. And to top it all off, Naruto didn't even try to bond with the team. But still, weren't they a team? Before they knew it, a week had passed, and that meant Zabuza and his accomplice would be here soon. Sakura was in charge of protecting Tazuna, while Sasuke, Kakashi, and Naruto were taking offense. Kakashi will fight Zabuza, while Sasuke and Naruto fight the accomplice. All of them were at the bridge waiting for the confrontation. Naruto had a feeling that Gato might try to target Tazuna's family, so he made a wind clone to watch Tazuna while he stayed to watch the house. A mist soon came into view covering the bridge, but not completely. Two figures appeared in the mist, and everyone was on guard. Kakashi had his Sharingan active while the Genin got ready to do their assigned job. Zabuza lifted his Kubikiri Bocho over his shoulder. Yo, Kakashi, ready for round 2? It won't go as last time, Kakashi told him. Naruto and Sasuke went after the accomplice, while Kakashi stayed with Zabuza. Naruto released his sword out of his scabbard and swung downward at Haku, dodged sideways, and kicked Naruto at his left side, making the clone disperse. Sasuke ran toward Haku with 2 kunai in his hands. Haku grabbed a Senbana block hands signs with one hand. One hand sign jutsu. Kakashi was shocked. I've never seen such a thing before. Secret jutsu. 1,000 needles of death, Haku muttered, before stomping the ground with his foot, creating needles of water. Sasuke put chakra into his feet, dodging the needles and throwing shurikens at Haku. Haku dodged the shurikens. Sasuke blitzes behind Haku, tries to punch him, he blocks it, throws a kunai at him. He ducks under, which lead to Haku getting hit in the face, flying backwards. Someone matching up to Haku's speed? Impossible, Zabuza stated in shock. Sasuke smirked arrogantly. It seems I'm faster than you. Zabuza laughed. Haku, you know what this means? At this rate, you'll be defeated by your intended victim. Yes, Haku said. As he got up, he did some hand sign while released a chilling aura. What? Ice sprung behind Sasuke, forming giant mirrors around him. Hidden jutsu. Crystal ice mirror, Haku muttered. What in the world? Sasuke muttered in shock. Haku went through the crystal and appeared in different mirrors. Now, I shall show you my true speed, Haku said. Sasuke was getting attacked by needles everywhere, making him scream in pain. Sasuke! Sakura screamed. She was about to rush, but stopped and quickly looked back at Tazuna. I'm sorry, but I must save him, she said to him, but he said that he understood, so she quickly grabbed a kunai and started running toward the crystals. Take this, she shouted, throwing the kunai to the crystals, only for Haku to grab it outside. He caught it. Sakura said in disbelief. Haku took the kunai and was about to go back into the crystal when a shuriken hit him, the mask making a fall. Everyone looked at the area where the shuriken was thrown and saw an angry Naruto/Michikatsu glaring at Haku before saying, "You and I have some unfinished businesses, Hunter Nin," Naruto said darkly. Naruto was still glaring at the Hunter Nin while pointing his sword at him with his right hand and was something holding in his left hand. Everyone looked at what he was holding. They were either surprised or shocked. In Naruto's left hand was two of Gado's thugs. What shocked everyone was that they can see that they've been tortured, torn to shreds. One was missing a left arm and his throat was slit, while the other was missing right leg and was stabbed in the jugular, making him bled out, and they were covered in slash marks. Sasuke, Sakura, and Tazuna were trying their very best not puke out their insides at the sight. Kakashi, Zabuza, and Haku were a little irked by the sight. Sure, they killed people in gruesome ways, but these two bodies looked like they've been slaughtered by some wild animal or a demon. Naruto looked at their direction at the two corpses before dropping them. "My apologies if you're disturbed by the sight. They were about to capture Tazuna's family and use them as leverage, so I've captured them, tortured them, and slashed them. In return, they've gave me the answer I needed, and in return I'd given them leniency," said Naruto nonchalantly while wiping the blood of his sword with a cloth. Flashback. Tsunami was in the kitchen. She had called Inari to help her with some chores around the house. She was about to finish cleaning the dishes when she heard front door opened harshly. She quickly turned to see who it was. It was Gado's thugs. "You're Tazuna's daughter? We need you to come with us," said one of Gado's thugs as he walked into the house. Tsunami screamed, making Inari run down the stairs to see her mother on the ground tied up. Gado's thugs saw Inari. The man with the eye patch started walking towards him. "I'll kill him," pulling his sword out while grinning madly. He walked towards Inari and was about to pull out his sword when Tsunami screamed, "I'll bite my tongue and kill myself. You're lucky, kid," the eye patch thug said as he was about to grab Tsunami, only for his hand to get chopped off, landing towards the ground. "Arg!" he screeched in pain while he pulled his arm back, looking at his left hand where there was nothing but a bleeding stump. He looked at the kid in front of him. He was holding out his sword while protecting Tsunami. Naruto was staring at them, waiting for them to strike so he could interrogate them. "You're dead, brat," screamed the one-handed thug as he started running towards Naruto, only for him to blitz behind him and knocked him out. He looked at other thug with piercings, running towards Inari, grabbing him and holding his sword to his throat. "Come any closer and I'll slit his throat." He pulled the sword closer to Inari, who was silently crying profusely. Tsunami was screaming and begging the man to let his son go, while Naruto stabbed the sword in the ground, walking towards him, ignoring his warning. "Didn't you hear me? I said I'll dash." He didn't finish his sentence as Naruto stomped on his hand, shifting him to the right, grabbed his face, and pushed it to the ground. There were cracks on the wooden floors as the man was knocked out. Tsunami and Inari looked at Naruto in shock after what he did with the two thugs. Naruto grabbed the two thugs and was about to leave before Tsunami spoke. "Where are you taking them?" Confused of what he was going to do with them. Naruto turned around. "I'm interrogating these two. They'll give me the answers I need," Naruto said as he left the house. The two thugs woke up in a haze while trying to get their bearings. After they've finally gotten their bearing, they were wide-eyed to see themselves tied without their weapons and gagged. They were looking for the person responsible for this. They kept turning their heads trying to find him/she. Then they a branch break and turned around and saw Naruto walking towards them with a kunai. "You're awake. Good. You will provide me with information." He started to walk towards them, releasing an aura that made them quiver. After a few minutes of cuts, deep gashes, blood on the grass and trees, and a lot of screaming of pain and agony, then one of them finally spoke. "Stop. We'll talk. Just stop." Naruto stopped, but he enhanced some chakra to his kunai just to be sure before walking towards the eye patch thug, placing the kunai to his neck before speaking. "Talk now," he commanded, pushing the kunai his neck, causing it to bleed. The thug was scared shitless. He didn't respond, which costed his left arm by getting cut off. The thug screamed while the other shook in fear before screaming. "Gado is heading to the bridge with an army of thugs. Now please stop." Naruto slit the thug's throat, making him fall forwards, gagging in his own blood before walking to the other thug. grabbing his face and pointing his kunai to his jugular, glaring at him to make him talk. "Why else do you know?" Naruto stated calmly, ignoring the fact that he murdered someone and was staring deep into the thug's eyes, making him even more afraid. "See, that's all I know, dash." He didn't finish as his right leg was cut off. "Liar." Naruto glared at the thug, getting annoyed with him, and was about to cut his other leg. The thug screamed in agony and in fear of losing his other leg. "That ninja Zabuza and that guy with the mask will be there as well. I swear. That's all I know." Naruto stabbed him in the jugular, not saying a word to him as he slowly bleeds to death. After he falling towards the floor, Naruto picked up the two bodies and shunts into the bridge. End of flashback. Naruto rushed towards Haku, swinging his sword downward. Haku dodged the attack, but not before getting a cut on his left shoulder. Haku quickly did some hand signs: Hijitsu, Makio Hyosho, Secret Technique, Demonic Mirroring Ice Crystal. About 20 ice domes expanded around the two of them, making it inevitable for Naruto or Sasuke to escape. Naruto saw this jutsu and was impressed by it. Impressive. If I didn't know any better, I would say you're part of the Yuki clan that has a Kekai Jinkai called Hayaton. Ice Release? He had read some other clans from what Konoha could find from the other nations in Konoha's library. "You are correct, Tsujikuni-san. I'm the last of our clan, just like the Uchiha." Sasuke snarked at the remark, while Naruto just ignored him. "From this point on, I won't hold back," Haku exclaimed as he was getting ready to fight. Naruto and Sasuke got into a fighting stance, waiting for their opponent to make his first move. Senbon needles were launched from behind Sasuke, striking him in the leg, making him feel pain in his leg. Naruto used the transparent world to find where Haku might striking next. After about 2 minutes, he opened his eyes as he heard Haku call out his next attack. Hijitsu, Sensatsu Sushio, Secret Technique, 1,000 Flying Water Needles of Death. 1,000 long needles appeared from each crystal mirror, coming towards Sasuke and Naruto. Naruto quickly made some hand signs: Doton Kekai, Doro Domu, Earth Style, Earth Dome Prison. A dome made of earth protected the two of them from the needles as they attacked the dome instead of them. When the assault stopped, Haku saw that the needles were stuck in the dome but had little cracks in them. Seeing some needles broke through the dome, Naruto looked at his left arm in irritation. The jutsu he casted worked, but it wasn't enough to stop some of the needles that hit his arm. While Sasuke was looking at Naruto in awe and a little jealous, Naruto quickly removed the needles in his arm. The jutsu worked, but it wasn't enough. "No kidding," Sasuke agreed. "How did you know he was going to use a jutsu like that?" "I sensed his presence." He lied. He wasn't going to share his technique. Not now, at least. When the time was right. Naruto put the Earth of Dome down and Sasuke took the time to attack. Rat, tiger, dog, ox, rabbit, tiger, katon. Hosenka no Jutsu, Fire Style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu. Sasuke sent a trademark fireball at the ice pillars in front of him, hoping that it would at least melt or damage one of them, but it didn't. "What? So they're resistant to fire techniques then? Huh." Naruto observed. Haku sent more Senbon needles at them, prompting them both to dodge out of the way. The Hunter Nin observed them. "I see. You're both able to read and sense my movements." Naruto looked at Sasuke and saw it. The Uchiha had finally awakened his Sharingan. "It looks like you've finally awakened, Sharingan." Sasuke smirked. Finally, his Sharingan had awakened. Now he can follow Haku's movements as well as copy any jutsu Naruto might use. Haku sent more Senbon needles at the two. Both dodged, barely getting out of the way. Sasuke was able to because of his Sharingan, and Naruto could sense the attacks coming. Sasuke was starting to get used to Haku's movements and made another fireball jutsu: snake, ram, monkey, boar, horse, tiger. Gokaku no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu. Sasuke sent a giant fireball at the mirrors, hoping to end this fight then and there. The Uchiha watched as the flames dispersed, and to his surprise, the ice hadn't melted. What? Sasuke couldn't believe it was still there, and he used up all his chakra when he was using the fireball jutsu. "I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you've lost," Haku said from behind the Uchiha air, making him freeze in place. Hijitsu, Sensatsu Sushio, Secret Technique, 1,000 Flying Water Needles of Death. Using the same technique as before, he sent 1,000 Senbon needles at the Uchiha air, the needles piercing his body as he cried out in pain and soon fell backwards unmoving. Haku stopped his jutsu and looked over at Naruto. I didn't wish to kill your friend, but he left me no choice. He isn't my friend besides. You didn't kill him anyways. You missed hitting vitals on purpose, didn't you? Naruto said calmly. Haku's eyes widened from beneath the mask. Naruto unsheathing his sword and breathed before muttering, "Moon breathing first from Evening Palace." Naruto unleashes a series of horizontally crescent moons at Haku, who quickly dodged to one of his mirrors and saw that 3 of his mirrors were destroyed by that technique. Haku's eyes widened underneath the mask while grabbing his arm in pain. What a powerful technique! He broke 3 of my mirrors and injured me. How strong are you, Tsujikuni-san? Naruto smirked inwardly. His training with Kokushibo paid off and completed his form and was almost finished completing the other ones. His sensei would be proud. But he quickly removed the smile and hardened his face at Haku. I need to end this now. Gado's army is coming to the bridge. Naruto thought, making hand signs: tiger, ox, dog, rabbit, snake, futon, Daitapa, wind style, wind breakthrough. Sending a stream of wind from his mouth, he watched as the ice mirrors shattered and Haku flew away from him. His mask cracked and fell off his face. When he opened his eyes, Naruto was giving him a pity look. You know, I had a feeling it was you who I was battling. Haku couldn't help but smile at him. How did you know it was me? I sensed your chakra signature. Naruto told him honestly. I sensed you had a strong chakra signature and knew that you were no pushover. And now here you are, fighting me and my teammate. Haku smiled, closing his eyes. You're right. Your friend is still alive. Yeah, I figured. Naruto smirked. He helped carry Haku before saying, so this was your dream? Haku nodded. Yes, he saved me from my suffering, gave me a purpose in life. My dream is to fulfill his goals. I'm his weapon, his tool. My purpose is to serve him. What about you? Haku inquired. Naruto stood there for a minute, gaining all the information Haku told him. After half a minute he spoke. My dream is similar like yours. I was alone, nobody helped me, no one wanted me until I was saved by my sensei. My father, as I told you before, my dream was to destroy the elemental nations, but to make it a better place for everyone whose lives have been ruined, tarnished, suffered, or destroyed by the nations. A place where everyone can be united as one. A place that has peace. That is my dream, whether it's taken seriously or not. Haku was a bit bewildered by his dream, but smiled nonetheless. Then I wish you the best of luck on your dream, also a gift. If you manage to find some of my people in Kiri, please take them to your village of peace. Haku said while holding his left arm, transferring his Kekai Genkai to him. Naruto looked at Haku in confusion. Why did you give me your Kekai Genkai? Haku stared at him. Because I believed in someone like you. If you do manage to finish your dream, please find my people, even if they're dead or alive. Naruto stood there before bowing slightly. I promise you, Haku Yuki, I will find your people and take them to my village once I leave Konohagakure, stated Naruto. Haku looked slightly amused by the bow. Before they could speak, they heard what sounded like lightning at Kakashi and Zabuza's direction. They both looked at each other. Goodbye, my friend. I hope you're happy at the other side, Naruto stated. Haku nodded before creating one final mirror towards Zabuza's direction. Kakashi had Zabuza cornered. He'd summoned his animals to trap Zabuza while holding him still. After that, he was going to finish the fight using his own jutsu. How about we finish this, Zabuza? This time, I'll use my own technique. Kakashi started doing some hand signs before lightning started to shoot out of his hand. Right on. Chidori, lightning style. Chidori. Kakashi roared as he ran towards Zabuza and was about to hit him in the heart when a mirror came in front of him and stabbed Haku. Zat Bu-Za. Haku exclaimed in pain as he grabbed Kakashi's arm tightly before dying. Zabuza seized this opportunity to slice Kakashi in half, but he jumped, landing a few meters away from him. He placed Haku down to the ground, closing his eyes. How intriguing. Naruto saw the outcome of Haku's demise. He was a little upset, but quickly stirred his emotion back. He was about to walking towards them until Kakashi yelled, Naruto, you stay there and watch. This is my battle. Naruto obliged and watched while Sakura was calling out to him. Naruto, where is Sasuke-kun? She questioned him. He didn't answer her, but pointed his thumb behind him. Sakura got the message and immediately ran with Tazuna as they went to see Sasuke covered in needles. Sakura was mourning the loss of Sasuke. Naruto didn't care and knew he was alive, so it didn't matter to him. Zabuza shifted his sword upward, trying to slash Kakashi with his sword, but Kakashi blitzes behind him. He tried swinging it sideways, but got stabbed in the arm with 2 kunai. Then they heard a voice by the last person they expected to see. Well, the so-called Demon of the Mist can't kill a bunch of ninja? How disappointing. Gato appeared along with a various amount of thugs behind him who were smiling like a bunch of creeps. Zabuza snarled at the short man. Gato, what is the meaning of this? Gato smirked. Missing nin are very expensive, so I decided to cut you off permanently. Zabuza couldn't fight anymore, and Kakashi was low on chakra. This was the end of their battle. Gato's thugs were coming closer. Everything looked like it was about to end until Naruto spoke. You're not going to avenge your comrade. Naruto spoke. Zabuza looked at his direction. He's a tool, just like the rest of us. Naruto spoke calmly, his voice never wavered. That may be true, but he was your friend. He lived for you. You were the most important thing in the world for him when he threw his life away because he cared about you, and yet you threw him aside like he was nothing. Naruto stopped when he saw Zabuza trembling. You talk too much. Zabuza looked down, not looking at him. Your words cut deeper than any blade. I guess the both of us have failed, kid. Give me a kunai. Naruto grabbed a kunai underneath his kimono and threw it in the air. Zabuza caught it with his mouth and started running towards Gato. Gato got scared and ran behind his men. Don't just stand there. Kill him. Zabuza charged towards the thugs. He killed one of them by slitting their throat. The other he stabbed another one in the stomach. Zabuza was about to charge forward when he was stabbed in the back by a spear. A thug was about to stab him with a knife before his head gotten cut off by Naruto. Zabuza looked at him while Naruto nodded. Zabuza kept charging while getting stabbed in the back. Naruto killed some 4 to 7 thugs by slashing them in half or cutting their heads off. Zabuza finally reaches Gato and stabs him in the chest. You and I are going to hell, Gato. There are many demons there. Different sizes. I'll enjoy tormenting you there at the other side. Zabuza stepped on his glasses, then moved in front of him and swung the kunai to his neck, making Gato fall into the lake. Zabuza was about to land face first onto the ground, but Naruto grabbed by his chest and carried him by his arm. He looked at Naruto. Take me to Haku. Naruto carried Zabuza to Haku's corpse. He placed him down right next to him and walked away, leaving the two of them. I hope I'll get to meet you at the other side. The thugs tried to band together to kill the bridge and his bodyguards for killing their money loader. An arrow was shot in front of them, showing the entire civilians from wave at the bridge with weapons and makeshift armor. This is our bridge. A voice screamed at them as it was Inari wearing a helmet while holding a crossbow. After the rest of the thugs were taken care of, Kakashi and Naruto buried Zabuza and Haku on top of a hill with his sword on the right, and on the left was Haku's broken mask. They've prayed respectfully. They all went back to Tazuna's house and went asleep except Naruto. He created a clone to fake that he was asleep, then he went to the forest to practice his Hayaton. Kokushibo-sensei, have you known someone who can use ice? He asked his sensei. Yes, I know one person who can use ice. His name was Doma. Whilst Kokushibo wasn't fond of him, he was impressed by his power and skill. I know some of his moves, and you will practice them, understood? Hi, sensei. For the past week, Naruto had been secretly practicing his Hayaton as well as Doma's power. Today was their last day at Wave. The civilians were watching the team walking away while trying to find a name for the bridge. What should we name it? A woman asked. Tazuna thought for a second before saying, how about the Great Tazuna Bridge? Everyone booed at the name and Tazuna slumped a little before laughing. Then Inari said, how about the Great Michikatsu Bridge? Everyone loved the idea, and so the Great Michikatsu Bridge was born. Few months later, it's been a few months since Team 7's first C-Rank mission. They've been doing D-Rank much to their dismay. One day their sensei asked them to come early to show them something, but they should have known that Kakashi wasn't going to come early. 3 hours have gone by, and the team were starting to lose their heads. Sasuke's right eyebrow was twitching. Naruto was meditating on the ground, but a look at his left eye, you can tell it's twitching by 2 meters, and Sakura infuriated. She was grabbing her locks before she lost it. Where the hell is this guy? It's been 3 hours. Naruto and Sasuke made an eternal note to bring earplugs with them. A puff of smoke appears on top of a pillar where it showed Kakashi giving the three of them a nice smile. Yo, sorry I'm late, I gotten lost in the path of life. Kakashi laughed sheepishly. Liar. Sakura screeched while pointing her finger at him. Kakashi ignored her. Anyways, the upcoming Chunin exams are starting, and I'd signed you 3 in. Kakashi gave them 3 papers. Sasuke smirked, thinking that this was his chance to show how strong he is. Naruto didn't care, unless if there were worthy opponents to face. Sakura was starting to have some doubts, but immediately agreed after he teammates' faces. The 3 of them nodded their head at their sensei. Team 7 nominated for the Chunin exams. Flashback. Hiruzen had the Jounin gathered in his office to discuss whose team will be participating in the Chunin exams. All of the Jounin present here. Inform me who will be taking place in the Chunin exams? Kakashi took a step forward. I, Kakashi Hatake, nominate Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Sakura Haruno. Kurenai took a step forward. I, Kurenai Yuhi, nominate Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aburame, and Kiba Inuzuka. Asuma took a step forward. I, Asuma Saratobi, nominate Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akimichi, and Ino Yamanaka. Kasumi took a step forward. I, Kasumi Noriko, nominate Momoko Kurosaki, Kagurashi Tahizo, and Ami. Irika's eyes widened. Hiruzen looked intrigued. All of the rookies taking place in the exam this year. This is a first. Yamato, who was a bodyguard for the Hokage, was also surprised by this. Wait a minute. Irika yelled. What wrong? Hiruzen turned to him. Nominating all of them for the exams are dangerous. You'll destroy these kids. Irika yelled. Maybe they need it, Kakashi said lazily. I know 2 of my students do. He was referring to Sasuke and Sakura. Irika glared at the man. The Chunin exams are grueling and some could end up dead. They're not ready to become Chunin yet. I became Chunin at the age of 6, Kakashi informed him, and became an ANBU captain when I was around Naruto's age. Naruto is nothing like you. Irika growled. Even though Naruto was cold-hearted and never cared for anyone, Irika still has hope for him. As his friend, Yamato nodded his head. Even though they never met face to face, he used to watch him when he won in ANBU. His transformation and coldness to everyone in the village, that didn't stop him from seeing hope in him. Furthermore, they aren't your students anymore, Irika, Kakashi added. They're considered shinobi now. Irika knew he was right, but still he couldn't help but feel worried about them. Yamato closed his eyes and sighed to calm down before speaking to the rest of the Jounin. I think they're ready. What? But Yamato, Irika looked him. This would be a good experience for them, Yamato said. The rookies won't get themselves killed. They're a lot smarter than that. I'm more worried about the foreign ninja that are participating this year. What do you mean about being worried about the foreign ninja, Yamato? Asuma questioned. Yamato narrowed his eyes. I mean, Amigakure, Sunagakure, Kusagakure, and Otogakure. Kakashi widened his eyes in shock. Hokage-sama, you allowed Suna to take part in the exams? Knowing that their relationship with Suna were on tight ropes. Hiruzen nodded. I did. However, I don't think they'll try anything and focus on the exams. I hope. End of flashback. Where are the exams taking place? Sasuke questioned. At the academy, room 301. The Jounin told them. Naruto and his team started walking towards the direction to the academy. Kakashi was worried Sunagakure, Amigakure, Otogakure, and Kusagakure were both taking part in this exam. For Suna they didn't worry because they have an alliance, while the other 3 they didn't have an alliance with, and that makes them dangerous. While walking halfway there, they heard a scream and turned their heads to the left to see a guy wearing all black, holding something on his back, and was wearing purple paint on his face. He was grabbing a brown-haired kid wearing goggles and a blue scarf. Next to him were 2 other kids just like him wearing goggles on his head. There was a kid wearing glasses and had snot running down his nose. The other was a girl whose hair braided by the sides. Brats like you need to or punished. The man cocked his fist back, ignoring her sister's plea to stop. He was about to punch him when a kick landed on his stomach, causing him to drop the kid and cough saliva and slump to the ground on his knees. The kid landed on his butt and scooted far away from the 2 of them. The man glared at the Naruto while he glared back at him. Who are you? The girl with 4 ponytails glared at him while standing in front of her little brother, who started to get back up. Naruto ignored her question. Children of the Kazekage, Temari and Kankiro of the Sand. Quit pathetic, picking on children half your age. Naruto mocked at them, while the two glares intensified. How do you know us? The woman named Temari pulled out her hand out and grabbed her weapon behind her. Naruto ignored her yet again, which infuriated her. How dare he ignore her? She was about to use her fan when Naruto spoke. Bring your friend out of the tree. Temari, Kankuro, and his team who arrived looked at him quizzically. Before turning at the tree, seeing a red head on the trees made the two Nins turn to fear. Jie, Gaara. She started to stutter. Gaara looked at Kankuro annoyed. Kankuro, you're an embarrassment to our village. Kankuro looked scared. Who but Gaara did? Kankuro was stuttering to talk before. He was interrupted by Gaara. Be quiet. I won't let you embarrass us any longer. He snarled at him before looking at Naruto, who looked rather amused by the event. I'm sorry for my brother's foolishness. Gaara apologized to Naruto but didn't care. I don't care about your apology. Keep those two animals on a tighter leash so they don't make mistakes like this. You're lucky I got here in time before your moronic brother punched the Sandame's grandson. Naruto stated while crossing his arms. Kankuro and Temari looked offended being called animals, only to pale when they realized they were about to hit the Sandame's grandson. Naruto walked away with his team and were about to walk away when Gaara spoke. Who are you? He didn't refer to anyone. Sasuke thought that he was talking to him, so he spoke. I'm Sasuke, Sasuke Uchiha. He boasted arrogantly. Gaara looked at him annoyed. Not you, him. He pointed at Naruto, which hurt Sasuke's pride a little. Naruto stared at Gaara intensely, not saying anything for 2 minutes before speaking. Michikatsu Michikuni. Gaara nodded his head. I look forward to meet you in the exams. Michikatsu Tsujikuni. Gaara walked away with his siblings while Naruto walked away with his team, ignoring the three kids. Team 7 arrived to the academy and departed with Kakashi to go inside the building. Naruto noticed something as they walked up the stairs to the second floor. A feeling of eeriness that you'd only get when you're submitted to a genjutsu or feel one nearby. He felt it and hummed, so it's going to be like that. What are you babbling about, Narabaka? Sakura questioned in annoyance. Naruto looked at her. Use your head, you imbecile, which earned a tick mark from Sakura and was about to retaliate when Sasuke spoke. So you sensed it as well. Sasuke smirked himself. Sakura was confused and looked back and forth in between them. Naruto sighed and pinched his nose over this girl's stupidity. There's a genjutsu up ahead, which means the exams have already started. Sasuke smirked. Sakura didn't say anything. Naruto didn't say anything but had a look of glee in eyes. Please let us through. Sasuke and Sakura saw a boy with bowl-cut hair and wearing a green spandex was begging to get inside the room along with a girl who had her hair tied up in buns, wearing a pink shirt and green pants. We're doing you two a favor, the man before him said, who was obviously a chunin himself, pushed the boy roughly, making him fall on his behind. You'll just end up dying anyway. Naruto was bored and was about to head upstairs, but Sasuke decided to open his mouth. You should stop this pathetic display of jinja. He got the attention of the genin present. Imbecile, thought Naruto inwardly. They could have just walked away and not say anything, but he had to open his mouth and show off. We're supposed to be meeting in from room 301, not 201. Sasuke smirked. We could sense your genjutsu easily. Naruto sighed in annoyance, not wanting to be here any longer. Sakura didn't say anything because she didn't even sense that there was a genjutsu being used, but Naruto and Sasuke did. Was she really that far behind? The Chunin growled and moved to engage at Sasuke and Taijutsu, and the Uchiha responded in the same kind of manner. The man sent a punch while Sasuke sent a kick that would have made contact of if Naruto hadn't used the palm of his hand to smack the man's hand away and grabbed Sasuke's ankle. Naruto sighed in irritation. Save your strength for the exam. You've wasted our time as enough as it is. He let the Uchiha's ankle go and walked up to the stairs to the correct room, already irritated as before. He could hear footsteps, meaning his team was following him, but sensed Sasuke's negative emotions, but didn't care. They were about to make their way to the third floor when the same boy from before appeared before them. His eyes landed on Sakura and blushed. You're Sakura Haruno. I am Rock Lee. Please go out with me. I will protect you with my life. He winked at her. Naruto unknowingly smirked at this boy's boldness. Him and Sakura HM. What an interesting combination. Sakura shivered at the boy. There's no way, she denied. Looking over at Sasuke, she saw that he didn't really care made her heart sink. Lee looked hurt for a second, then got over it as his eyes landed on Naruto and smiled at him. "It's you, the Rookie of the Year. You're Naruto Uzumaki, right?" Naruto narrowed his eyes at the last sentence. "No, there is no Naruto Uzumaki. That name died 9 years ago. A Michikatsu Tsujikuni," stated Naruto emotionlessly. Lee bowed. "My apologies. I've heard that you were strong and were able to defeat a hunter nin. You're a worthy ninja." Naruto didn't say anything for a few minutes, but he eventually cracked a small smirk on his right lip. "Thanks." He was curious about Lee. "You're something else yourself. You're strong." Lee's face brightened up at the compliment. "I thank you for the compliment, Michikatsu. You're truly a youthful person." He grabbed his hands. "Please be my rival." Naruto thought about it for a moment. He didn't want this weakling as a rival, but if he refused his request, he would have kept chasing him to accept his rivalry and would foil his plan, so leaving no other options. He finally agreed, "Fine, I'll accept your rivalry." Sakura was stunned, and Sasuke was shocked. He never thought in a million years that Naruto would take someone as this guy as his rival. There's nothing strong about this guy." Naruto turned to him. "Then why don't you fight him and test that theory of yours?" "What?" Sasuke narrowed his eyes at him. "You and Lee will spar right here," Naruto said. "Me and Sakura won't interfere. Is that all right with you, Lee?" Lee's eyes brightened with excitement. "Yes. Thank you very much, Michikatsu-san." Naruto nodded. "We'll get out of your way then." He walked away with Sakura following him. "You do realize that Sasuke-kun is going to beat him, right?" Sakura told him, not understanding why he thinks Lee has a chance. "If that's what you truly think, then you need to watch how this turns out. He may look weird, but he isn't a pushover," Naruto told her. Sakura didn't comment and simply turned to watch the spar. This will be easy," Sasuke said arrogantly. Lee got into a stance. "Let us begin." Sasuke smirked and charged at Lee, who narrowed his eyes. "He's coming." As soon as the Uchiha was close enough, Lee disappeared from view and kicked the Uchiha right in the gut, sending him flying towards the room. Sakura's jaw dropped, not believing what she saw, while Naruto was a little impressed. He didn't sense any chakra from Lee, not a single drop, which tells him that ninjutsu and genjutsu is out the league for him, so he using pure taijutsu. Sasuke's taijutsu skills weren't bad, but saw the display Lee was using and knew that with Lee, Sasuke was out of his league. "That bruise will hurt his ego for a while, but whatever," Naruto stated while blinking in boredom. Sasuke got up slowly and glared at the boy and was about to charge at him again, but Lee disappeared from sight and appeared before the Uchiha again. "Konoha Senpu, Leaf Hurricane." He got Sasuke again, sending him rolling on the ground. Sasuke got back up, his Sharingan active, making Sakura smile. "The Sharingan? Now Sasuke-kun going to win." Sakura smiled. Naruto snorted at that comment. "I doubt it." "What?" Sakura growled. "The Sharingan can copy the person's jutsus and read their movements, but it's useless against someone like Lee," he said cryptically. "What are you talking about?" He rubbed his temple with his right hand. "Just watch." Sakura was glaring at him. Naruto saw this and released a little ki at her, making her scared a little. "I suggest you watch who you're glaring at, brat." She nodded her head rapidly and turned back to the fight. Sasuke's Sharingan was active, making him smirk. "I'll be able to read his movements now." His eyes widened when Lee disappeared from sight again, appearing before the boy, kicking him upwards before appearing behind him. Kagebuyo, dancing leaf shadow. Sasuke's eyes widened. How? How is he so fast? Lee was about to use one of his techniques, but a man looking exactly like the boy stopped him from using it, separating them both. Naruto caught Sasuke and dropped him on the floor next to Sakura, who was fretting over him. "Lee, you should know better than you use that here." The lookalike chided. "Yes. My apologies, Guy-sensei." Lee bowed in apology. Naruto couldn't help but see a seeking suspicion from the man. "You're Might Guy, aren't you?" "Ah, you must be the 3 students of my eternal rival Kakashi. I assume he told you who I am." "No, I read your bingo book," Naruto stated. Guy slumped a little. "I see, no matter. I look forward seeing you 3 in the exams," Guy told them before grabbing Lee's shoulders and disappearing into a whirl of leaves. Room 301. Team 7 entered the room and was immediately exposed to a wave of killing intent being sent by their direction. Sasuke and Sakura felt uncomfortable seeing different shinobi glaring at them, mainly Aim and Odo. Naruto wasn't fazed by the killing intent after being trained by Kokushibo and the Kyuubi he'd gotten used to it. He simply walked past his teammates and leaned against the wall, crossing his arms. The chakra he sensed felt like water and earth. He knew Gaara was here because he could feel his bloodlust, and it was directed right at him, as were the ones coming from Amage Cure, which was strange for them to even be here since the bond between Konoha and Aim weren't mutual. This exam just went from exciting to troublesome. His eye twitched as he said that, "Great, now I sound like that, Nara. So you guys are here too? Troublesome." Shikamaru sighed as he was approaching to Team 7 with Choji, who was eating chips. "Sasuke-kun, there you are." Ino jumped on his back. "Hey, get off him, Ino pig." Sakura yelled. "Oh, you're here too, billboard brow." Ino smirked. "What did you say?" Sakura growled. Naruto sighed. "How annoying. I can't even think how those two worthless girls are kunoichi. They'll end up dead if they continue to be like this." "Found you. The gang's all here." A booming voice echoed as they saw Team 8 walk up to them. "Inen Naruto-kun." Hinata muttered quietly, tapping her fingers together. Well, if it isn't giant forehead and flower dork. How you shorties been?" A female voice says mockingly, making the two stop and look at her. "You." Ino and Sakura screeched while pointing their finger at her. "What are you doing here?" Ami, saying the last sentence in distaste and disgust. Ami had purple hair reached under her neck with her left side, reaching halfway down to her back while tips of her hair stranded on her sides. She was wearing a fishnet hid her C-cups under a white haori while hiding under a cloak. She was wearing green shorts, wearing black leggings with a kit next to her right leg, wearing blue sandals, had a sword strapped to her left side. She wore her headband on her forehead. "What? I can't see the two losers called kunoichi after years of not seeing each other?" Making the two clench their fist and growled at her. She started walking towards Ino's team. "So this is your team?" Pathetic. Leaving an irked Choji and Shikamaru. This your team, Sakura?" Ami saw Sasuke and was about to touch his cheek when her hand was slapped by Sakura, who was seething at her. "Don't touch him." Ami smirked. "Ho, so this is your Sasuke-kun. He doesn't look like much and looks a little weak." Which irked Sasuke a little. "Where's your other teammate?" Ami looked at Sakura, who glared at her, not saying anything to her. "I'm right here." Ami looked at where the voice and caught her breath. She looked at the handsome man who were taller than her. She was 5 feet 11 inches. He is 5'13". Everything about him made her blush. The kimono, the long hair, his demeanor, and the mark on his face made him look even more handsome. Ami was starting to feel high heels for Naruto. Hi, I'm Ami." She stuttered and tried pulling out her right hand to shake with. Naruto saw this and pulled out his hand, shaking hers. "Michikatsu Jakuni." Unknowingly, a spark connected with them. Blush a little. Naruto quickly hid his blush and went back to his stoic and emotionless face. While Ami was still blushing, her teammates saw this and smirked before they were going to say anything. Naruto spoke. "Ami, you've seemed to know my comrade at a personal level. Do you perhaps know this imbecile?" Sakura glared at Naruto for being called an imbecile. "Yeah, I knew her and her bratty friend since we were 6. Ami smirked before she could say more. A man walked towards them. "You should be more quieter." A man approached them. He had silver hair that was in a low ponytail, glasses, purple shirt, pants, sporting purple arms set on each wrist. He had a Konoha headband on his forehead. "You guys rookies that are fresh out of the academy, right? I suggest you draw less attention to yourselves. This isn't exactly a playground, you know." All the ninja at the room were glaring at them. The rest were sweating a little while Naruto ignored them. Kabuto smiled. "I suppose I can help you all, though. I mean, you are rookies after all. You're acting just like how I used to be. So this your second time taking part in the exams?" Sakura asked, a bit hesitant. "No, this is my 7th time, actually. The Chunin selection exams are held twice a year, so this also makes it my 4th year taking the exams." Kabuto replied with a small smile. Kiba whistled about how he sucked if this was his 7th try. Naruto raised a brow. 7 times making it into the exams. He couldn't have failed so many times. Even someone with half a brain couldn't fail many times. But nonetheless, he didn't care because it was his business and Konoha could be destroyed for all he cared. "Since you guys remind me of myself, I will show you what I have gathered for the exams," he said, taking out a deck of cards. "These are Nin Info cards. I have gathered information on every participant in the exam. Do you have information on any individual? Sasuke asked, interested while shaking Ino off him. Kabuto smiled. Worried about someone? Of course, the info I have on some of the competitors aren't all that perfect, but I have them. Even all on you guys. Just tell me who your target is, and I'll tell you. Gaara no Sabaku, Rock Lee, and Michikatsu Tajikuni. The rookies were also curious. They wanted to know who Naruto was and why he wants to call by that name. Oppu, you know their names already, takes the fun out of it. Kabuto said, shuffling the cards, only bringing out 3, holding them away from Sasuke. Just show me. Sasuke demanded. Quite impatient, aren't you? Kabuto smiled, reading the card. I'll start with Rock Lee. He's a year older than you all. Mission history: 85 complete D-rank missions and 13 completed C-rank missions. Sensei is Might Guy. Teammates are Tintin Higurashi and Niji Hyuga. While his taijutsu skills are off the charts, his skills in ninjutsu and genjutsu are non-existent. He read the other card. While he was doing that, Sasuke and Sakura looked over at Naruto, who was talking to Ami, much to Sakura's dismay. Did he know that Lee used nothing but taijutsu? If so, why didn't he tell them? Next is Gaara Sabaku, youngest child of the Kazekage. Mission history: 18 completed C-rank missions, 6 completed B-rank missions, and 4 completed A-rank missions without getting a single scratch on him, but it's best to keep that himself. His teammates are Temari and Kankuro Sabaku, who are also his siblings. I must say I'm impressed, Kabuto said. Naruto, who was listening, was quite impressed. He didn't get scratched on his first C-rank mission, so it's best to keep that to himself. And lastly, Michikatsu Tajikuni. Kabuto revealed the card and was about to read the information before he stood silent. The rookies took notice of this. Well, Sasuke said, impatiently waiting for any information about his teammate. It's blank, he replied as he was looking at Naruto. There's no information about him, everything is blank. Naruto ignored the looks he got from the rest of the ninja and rookies. Anyways, even though there are a lot of competitors here taking the exams, but the contestants you should avoid in the... Kabuto spoke, but was cut off by Naruto. There are no other strong contestants. The rest are weak. They are nothing but annoyances. Naruto said a little too loud. All the contestants hear him, but Naruto didn't care if they did. A team of sound genins didn't take Naruto's words kindly. They were going to him who was weak. Everyone looked at Naruto like he was insane. Are you crazy? Ami shouted while pulling on his kimono, pulling him back and forth. Naruto grabbed her hands to let go of his kimono. He felt the presence of the people and quickly made a staff out of earth and whacked the man's metallic arm to his side. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the Odo Nins. Try pulling that stunt again, and I won't hesitate to end your pathetic lives. Naruto glared at them while they narrowed their eyes at him. A puff of smoke appeared at the front, getting everyone's attention. There stood a man wearing a blue headband on his head, scars on his face, wearing a long black trench coat, gray uniform, and gloves. That's enough, you maggots, the man bellowed, shutting them up. You, Odo Nin in the back. Do you want to get disqualified before the exams even begin? Sorry, we were a little too excited. The one with the bandages apologized. He glared hard at the 3, then looked around the room. The name's Ibiki Marino. I am the examiner for the written portion of the exams. I'm going to say this once. Any fighting during this portion will not be tolerated. Disobey that rule, and I'll make you wish you stayed in your mother's womb. Understood? The genin nodded their heads. Ibiki smirked at all of them before saying, Welcome to hell. The rest of the proctors in the room will show you your seating charts arraignments. Once you've sat down, I'll explain the rules, Ibiki said. The proctors led the genin to their arraigned seats. Naruto sat next to Hinata and Momoko, who was smirking at him. He was still amused by him flirting with Ami, while Hinata was blushing while looking at him, tapping her fingers. He ignored them while thinking what he was going to do with the test, since he knew half of the answers. Then he had an idea. Before Ibiki couldn't explain the rules, he took out a kunai and tossed it without anyone noticing, aiming right at the door to the room, making it blow up a little, getting their attention. He felt 3 chakra signatures leave the room, making him smirk. He had already done what he needed to know. Now all he had to do was wait. Ibiki looked around the room, wondering who threw it, but the genin looked completely surprised, almost shocked. He merely started explaining the rules. Listen up. Before we begin the exams, I'm going to explain the rules. Questions will not be tolerated, and I'm not going to repeat myself either, so don't bother asking. Naruto couldn't help but sweat drop. must be the no-nonsense type. First rule, you maggots will start with 10 points instead of 0. The test is made up of 10 questions with each one worth a single point. If you answer the question correctly, you get to keep your 10 points, but if you get a question wrong, then you lose a point. Second rule, this is also a team test. Whether you pass or not depends on how your whole team does. Third rule, anyone caught cheating 5 times by the proctors will be immediately disqualified. One of the proctors looked at them with a smug, "We'll be watching you like hawks, so don't even think about cheating." Everyone present in the room gulped. Something's not right about that rule. Why tell us this unless they want us to cheat? No, they want us to cheat without getting caught. Good thing I set everything up after causing that distraction earlier. Naruto mused. One last thing, Ibiki smirked. If one of you is caught cheating 5 times, then your whole team fails. Sasuke's eyes grew wide. What did he say? Sakura yelled inwardly. Now begin. Ibiki said. Naruto flipped over the paper waiting for his clone to get to work. One of the Chunin, pretending to be one of the people taking the test, was waving an annoying fly away from him. It finally landed on the table, giving him the opportunity to smash it with his hand. Stupid fly. He grumbled. Little did he know that the fly he squashed was one of Naruto's clones that hinged into a fly, and as soon as he smashed it, the information it gathered was transferred to Naruto, who began writing down the answers going by the memory he received from the clone. Naruto thought for a moment before narrowing his eyes around the room. Sasuke had his Sharingan active, copying others' movements. He was doing quite well. He looked at the room and seemed like most are cheating. Information gathering, Naruto thought, looking at the genins who were cheating. He already concluded that they are accepting the genins to cheat without getting caught. It was a test to see if one had any information skills. Such skills were useful for missions. Naruto didn't have to worry about having to acquire such skills, he had someone do it for him. But that didn't mean he didn't learn a thing or two from him. He did learn a few things so that he could look for information whenever he wasn't available to do it for him. Because gathering information would involve breaking into offices, private buildings. One has to be discreet. The Hyugas had their Byakugan activated. The Byakugan was a useful tool for something such as gathering information because of its ability to see through solid objects. They did call it the all-seeing eye. Hinata looked to be checking him out. He figured the girl might have been looking to see if she could help him since he didn't answer a question yet. He sighed and began to answer the questions, ignoring the rookies who were also cheating. A few genins got caught cheating, which resulted in them being thrown out of the room. They were thrown out because they had been denying that they were cheating in the exams. If one's teammate got caught, it meant it was all over for the whole team. Something like this could make and break a team. The others could blame the one who got caught for their failure, which would have been true. Had he not been caught, they would never have failed the exam. But some would help each other, seeing that their teammates lack in information gathering skills. The 45 minutes were over and Ibiki stopped them from answering any more questions. Pencils down, Ibiki called out. Everyone put their pencils down. The door slid open and in came Kankuro, who had to use the restroom earlier. Welcome back. I hope your little trip was fun. He eyed the boy with a smirk. Kankuro panicked a little but took his seat. Damn, he knows. Now then, time for the final question. Ibiki announced. The last question is whether you decide to answer it or not. Should you choose not to, your score will be an automatic 0. Meaning you and your team have failed. This shocked the genin present except for Naruto and Gaara, because there was another reason for this. Of course we'll answer the last question, Kiba yelled. Ibiki chuckled darkly. You say that now, but when I tell you the rest, you'll be changing your tone. Should you decide to answer the question but fail to answer it correctly, then you will be forbidden to the Chunin exams ever again. What the hell kind of rule is that? Kiba yelled. There have been people who failed the exams before and came back to take them over again. He was referring to Kabuto. You guys are unlucky this year, Ibiki told them uncaring. I'm in charge of the first part of the exams this year, so that means I make the rules. If you feel like you can't take it, then leave by raising your hand. It was quiet for a minute before a genin raised his hand. I quit. I'm sorry guys, you fail, the proctor said as the genin and his team left. One by one more genin started quitting, leaving the room. Ibiki looked around at those who stayed. To the ones that are in this room, congratulations, you all pass. Silence. What? Screeched Sakura, making everyone cover their ears. Naruto moved, getting everyone's attention. They saw him take his earplugs out of his ear and hid them into his kimono, making some of the proctors snicker as well as some genin present in the room who were trying to hold in their laughter. Even Ibiki snorted, "This kid's a damn riot." He smirked. Sakura made a mental note to get Naruto back for that later. "What about the 10th question?" "There was never a 10th question to begin with," he smirked. "You could say that it was based on your decision whether to stay or leave." "Wait a minute," Temari yelled. "Then what was the point for us answering all those questions then? Was all of that pointless?" "No, the questions you answered served their purpose well," Ibiki told her. "The purpose of this test was to test your information gathering skills, and I think it worked out well." He eyed Naruto. "Some of you already figured it out and got it right even without getting caught. The entire purpose of this test was to make you cheat. Only you noticed that the two Chunin were hiding amongst you, but I'll keep that Genin's name to myself. I'll explain the purpose of the written exam. In a mission, you will have to gather information to help your team succeed and complete the mission. You also need to know that getting the wrong information will cost you and your team's lives." He proved this by removing his headband. "This is what happens when you get the wrong information. Not only will you suffer scars like these, but you'll be forced to spill the beans because the pain is too much to handle." The purpose of the 10th question was to see if you had the guts to stay, and it looks like you passed the test. Your resolve. The first part of the exam is over. Good luck on the next part. Ibiki smiled. Suddenly, the window exploded, and in came a woman with brown, pupil-less eyes and violent hair which is styled in a short, spiky, fanned ponytail. Wearing a tan overcoat with a purple inseam and a pocket on each side, a dark orange miniskirt, a dark blue belt, and pale gray shin guards. Her forehead protector was wrapped around her forehead. There was a banner behind her. "There's no time to relax, you maggots. The sexy Enko Mitarashi has arrived." She did a pose. Ibiki rolled his eyes. "You're early again." Enko eyed those who were left. "Heh, there's still a few left. You're losing your touch, Ibiki." The man actually smiled. "There are some impressive ones this year." "Oh, really?" She eyed them with a predatory smirk. "We'll see about that. Follow me, you maggots. Time for the second part of the exam. Meet me at Training Ground 44. She jumped out the window. Everyone looked at each other unsure of whether to follow her or not. They heard someone get up and saw it was Naruto, but instead of heading out to the door, he opened the window and sped off, making their eyes widen, especially the rookies. "That idiot," Shikamaru thought, following after him. He knew he was strong and all but still. The rest of the Konoha Genin followed him while the others walked through the door. Naruto blinked as he saw the forest. It was behind a fence and gave a bad vibe to all the Genin. There were warning signs all over the fence. Enko had a sweet smile upon seeing the forest, as if she was familiar with it. Naruto knew that the woman was fond of with the forest while playing with her snakes. It was disturbing. Sakura shivered while looking at the forest. "Why does the second part of the exam have to be this? It doesn't look that bad to me." Kiba commented, with Akamaru agreeing with him with a bark. Enko smirked and launched at him while tossing a kunai that scratched his cheek, already appearing behind him with another kunai right to his throat. "It's always the loud ones that die first." She smirked, licking the blood off from his cheek. Kiba shivered at the woman's tone, as did Akamaru. Enko sensed movement behind her. Turning around, she saw a Genin from Kusa who had the kunai she threw in her tongue. "Excuse me, but I believe this is yours, Proctor-san." Enko eyed her for a second, then smiled. "Thanks, and word of advice. I suggest you be more careful. It's not smart to sneak up behind. I might kill you." The Kusa Genin smiled. "My apologies. The sight of blood has me a little bit excited. Also, your kunai cut my hair as well." She handed Enko the kunai and backed away. Well, looks like we've got some bloodthirsty ones this year," Enko commented, appearing back at her original spot. "Listen up. For this part of the exams, each team will receive either the Scroll of Earth or Heaven. In order to pass, you need to obtain both scrolls and reach the tower that's in the middle of the forest to pass. So out of all teams, only half could pass." Naruto said. "Heh, that would be on a good day," Enko smirked. "Normally less than half of the teams here would pass. Part of it because of the forest or just plain bad luck. The most important rule is that you don't open the scrolls until you reach the tower." "Why is that?" Sasuke asked. "Because that would be telling," Enko grinned. "You'll be in the forest for 5 days. 5 days? What about food?" Choji freaked out. "You're on your own in that department, big boy," Enko shrugged. The forest has plenty of food from animals to plants. Just make sure they don't come after you. Oh yeah, each of you are to sign these forms." She held a stack of papers up, and the proctor gave them all to the genin present. "Take the waivers and sign them." The genins signed the waivers. Some were hesitant to do so, but everyone signed them and handed it to Anko. She'd given each team a scroll, but did it in a way that no team would know which team held a heaven or earth scroll. This would avoid a team going to a specific team. It would cut down the numbers because a team would take a scroll from another team they have defeated even though it's the same as theirs. She didn't tell them yet. Final words of advice: don't get killed. She said with a maniacal grin that had the genin think she wanted them to kill each other. Each team went away to their assigned gates and got ready for the second test. Forest of Death. Team 7 was currently jumping from tree to tree, trying to find some teams at least, but so far they haven't come across any at all. Sasuke decided to act as team leader, even looking at Naruto as if to challenge him by saying something, but he had other things in mind, like Kusa, Aim, Team 6, the Odo nin that attacked him, and that other ninja from earlier. Naruto felt a presence at the 12 different teams. A feeling he knew too well. He had to know if they've had that technique. And that other Kusanin was staring at them, specifically at Sasuke. What she wants he has no idea and doesn't care. Unless if she's a nuisance tries to stand in their way, he'll end her. They stopped and stood on top of a branch. "What should we do?" Sakura questioned. "Isn't it obvious? We search for some teams." Sasuke snorted at her question. Naruto turned his head to the left side of the forest. "What's wrong, Naruto?" Sakura looked at him. "Some annoyances that won't go away have been following us," he said. "They should come out of the shadows now that they have seen we stopped." He set his eyes at the girl. Despite the fact they have only been walking, the girl looked like she wouldn't last 2 minutes in a fight. "What's wrong, the plan?" Sasuke asked with a smile. They've always gotten well together when they planned against their enemies. Everyone cooperated. Even Sakura valued Naruto's opinion. But after the mission was over, they would flip a switch and be a completely different team. Sakura should stay behind. You and I will remove the nuisances. It wasn't a plan. Naruto never made a plan against someone he knew he could defeat without any trouble. Sasuke nodded. Sakura was not a fighter in their team. It was best to leave her behind so that she won't become a burden while they fight. It would be troublesome to let her fight, as they would have to constantly check if she was faring well in her fight. It was something neither Sasuke or Naruto would rather not have to do. They didn't wait too long as the 3 shadows dropped from the trees and stepped closer to them. The one in the middle has a huge grin on his face. On their forehead protectors, the 3 were rain ninja from Amigakure, village hidden in rain. "I see that you have finally noticed us," the boy in the middle said, clearly the leader. He looked amused by the fact that they were noticed. Sasuke scoffed. "We knew you were following us all along." He said, well, he didn't know that they were being followed, except Naruto knew, and that what mattered most. Naruto was a part of their team, so it's Naruto that they knew. The smirks on the AIM genins didn't falter. They stayed in place, like the news didn't surprise them. "Oh ho! It doesn't matter though. Surrender the scroll and hand us the girl," the leader of the AIM team said with a malicious grin, looking at Sakura. Sakura shuddered at the grin. She brought her hand over her chest, trying to comfort herself. She was thinking of what could happen if she was taken by the AIM genins. They would surely do unspeakable things to her body, a body she cherished and taken care of so that Sasuke would do whatever he pleased. Her body was meant for Sasuke and only Sasuke. Sasuke smirked and gotten into a stance. "We'll be the ones taking your scroll. And if you want to get to Sakura, you'll have to go through us." Naruto sighed in annoyance. He really hated fighting people that couldn't compete with him. But since the AIM genins seemed serious about fighting, he would toy with them a little bit before finishing them off later. He didn't bother to take a taijutsu stance as he started walking towards the AIM genins, getting Sasuke to follow him. "Who wants to go first?" They didn't answer. Then Naruto wanted them to. "You first?" He dashed towards the AIM genin with Chunin speed. The AIM genins stood in their positions and held them firmly, waiting for their attack. Naruto appeared in front of the genins, so did Sasuke. He kicked the leader in the face, sending him flying away before turning his attention to the other. Sasuke stared at his opponent with a smirk. He felt excited about the challenging that presented itself to him. His opponent charged at him foolishly. The genin tried to hit him in the face, but Sasuke dodged and landed a kick on the genin's right shoulder, sending him flying. The AIM genin gritted his teeth as he felt Sasuke's foot crashing into him. The kick hurt really badly. He wasn't given any time to dwell on the pain as Sasuke appeared before him. Sasuke gutted the Genin hard with his fist. The Genin clutched his chest in pain. Sasuke didn't stop with the assault as he let loose another punch that connected with his opponent's ribs. A hard kick to the temple followed his punch. His opponent was sent crashing into the tree bark. The aimed Genin tried getting up. He felt winded due to the knocks he'd received from Sasuke. Sasuke was still standing there while looking at him with a smirk. "Are you going to give up?" With his Sharingan activated, his opponent couldn't land a hit on him as he was able to predict his movements. He deactivated it. He no longer needed it. Never! His opponent yelled as he charged at him with his right hand raised. Sasuke sidestepped the attempt to punch him. He kicked the Genin on his stomach, making him cough out blood and saliva. He didn't let him fly away as he quickly grabbed his hand and punched him in the chest, making the Genin cough out more blood. Sasuke slammed his opponent down to the ground, creating a small crater. His opponent wasn't out cold yet, but was barely conscious. He sighed and gave his opponent a knockout punch to the face. He felt slightly out of breath. Naruto looked at opponent while staring at him before deciding to charge at him with a kunai in his hands. A kunai was swung to slice his cheek. Naruto dodged the kunai and created out his wind sword. He wanted to ensure that he didn't get cut and didn't want to use his sword on someone barely worth his time or breath. His opponent continued trying to pierce him with his kunai while Naruto blocked and dodged their attempts to hit him. He threw his right punch at Naruto, dodged not even trying. He finally got tired of playing and knocked off the Genin's kunai from his hand. His sword sliced through his opponent's chest and blood was gushing from the wound. The wound wasn't deep, but it was enough to make him bleed and cause him pain. The Genin gritted his teeth in pain. Naruto moved closer to him and gripped his neck before slamming him to the ground, creating a giant crater where the Genin hit. The power of the slam was enough to make him out cold. Naruto looked at his other opponent. "Do you wish to fight as well?" The Genin shook his head vigorously. Naruto disappeared from view and appeared behind the Genin. He hit the Genin at the back of his head, making him fly landed face first on the ground. He slowly got up looking at Naruto while trying to regain his bearings. Naruto lifted his hand to show the scroll in his hands. The aimed Genin was shocked because he never felt the scroll being removed from him. Before he could answer, he was pushed back into a tree, while a sword stabbed a few inches from his head frightened him. "Take your partners and leave. This is your only warning," Naruto threatened. The aimed Genin nodded his head while grabbing his two teammates before jumping away. What they didn't know was that Naruto made a wind clone to follow them to finish them off, so he wouldn't have to bother dealing with them again. He dispelled his sword. He would only use his real sword to battle strong or worthy opponents in his mind and his prey. Sakura joined him looking relieved. She didn't get to fight, and both her teammates had defeated their enemies without any difficulty. That pleased her mind. She would have hated if one of her teammates had gotten hurt. She may not like Naruto, but at times she thanked Kami, God, that he was on their team. Without his help at times they would have never gotten this far. He'd also saved her life more than once. She was thankful for it, even though she never told him thank you. She also knows that Naruto didn't care for her, and if they hadn't been teammates he would have left her to die whenever her life was in danger. Naruto showed the scroll to Sasuke and grunted. They've obtained an Earth Scroll, but they needed a Heaven Scroll to pass this exam. Naruto kept the other Earth Scroll in case if they lose theirs, or in exchange for a scroll they want. Naruto looked at both his teammates and sighed. "We should camp here for tonight. We'll move out tomorrow morning," he said. They couldn't really travel at night. Whenever it was night, the forest becomes more darker and a twin of darkness even when there was a full moon. It was better to camp here for the night. Sakura looked at him. "Where are we going to sleep? We have no water to bathe in and no food to eat," she said in a loud voice. She couldn't that Naruto would suggest that they would sleep in the middle of nowhere without shelter. They hadn't eaten anything since they've entered the forest, and she was a girl. She couldn't go to sleep without taking a bath. Naruto looked at incredulous. How can she about bathing while we're stuck in a forest? Naruto thought. He looked away from the girl. He had no problem staying up all night or for a week without sleep. As long as they were able to reach the tower tomorrow, he had no problems with starving since he fused with Kokushibo. But his teammates were a different story. There weren't him that he understood. He had to think of a better way to get his teammates food, or he would have to carry them to the tower. "Stay here. I'll be back in 30 minutes or less with food," He spoke after a long pause. "Weren't you the one that said we shouldn't separate?" Sakura asked. Naruto ignored her and blurred out of his teammates' view. If they didn't separate, he would have been forced to carry them tomorrow because they would have been hungry and tired. He had zero intentions of doing something like that. Getting them food so they could walk themselves was the best thing he could do for them. Sasuke could probably walk even if he was starving, but wouldn't be able to fight in that condition. It wasn't that much of a problem for him to fight a team of genins. "Where do you think he went?" Sakura asked, looking at her precious Uchiha. Sasuke shrugged and walked away from Sakura. He walked towards a prompting tree as Sakura followed him. She'd never thought that one day she would be stuck in a forest with her crush. Never in her wildest dreams she thought this random occurrence would be happening. If Sasuke-kun wasn't so shy, who knows what we would have been doing, she thought while eyeing Sasuke with her cheeks red. "Hey Sasuke-kun, do you want to go on a date after we finish the exam?" Sakura asked. She had always been the one to take the initiative and ask Sasuke out. "No," Sasuke replied coldly. This girl annoyed him to no end. He had no intentions of dating someone weak as her. Not now, not ever. He was too busy training to become stronger to defeat him. That was his only interest right now. Sakura felt her heart shatter into a million pieces. Sasuke had always rejected her attempts to get to him to go on a date with her. He'd always shut the door on her face. Her mind couldn't say why Sasuke finds her annoying. To Sasuke's eyes, he seemed to have something that overshadowed her beauty from him. She frowned and looked down at her feet, before swinging her head back up with a look of determination in her eyes. She isn't going to give up and is going to win Sasuke's affection for her. The three AIM genin were standing on top of a large branch. Two of them were still unconscious after their battle, while the other was on guard. He was scanning the area before he heard movement from another branch. He quickly turned around and saw him. It was Naruto. "You?" He pointed his finger at him. Before he could have said anything else, he pulled out his sword blitzing and appeared in front of him, being 5 meters from him before muttering, "Moon breathing first form, dark moon, evening palace." A series of crescent moons started to descend rapidly at the genin. He didn't have time to dodge or do any hand signs before he'd been torn to pieces. Naruto sheathed his sword before walking to the unconscious corpses. He did some hand signs before whispering, "Katan, Jigaku no Hano, fire style, hell flame." Fire erupted from his hands, creating an orb before throwing it to the unconscious genins, burning them to a crisp. The clone dispersed, leaving 2 burning corpses and 1 body in pieces. Naruto returned 28 minutes later, walking towards to his teammates carrying a small bag. He went over to them and sat down. He opened the bag and withdrew 2 scrolls. He threw one to Sasuke, who caught it. "What is it?" Sasuke questioned. "It's a storage seal. You know how to use one, right?" Sasuke felt offended by Naruto's question. How could he, an Uchiha, not know how to use a simple storage seal? Luckily, Sakura spoke for him. Of course he knows how to use one. Naruto ignored her and continued looking at Sasuke. Sasuke opened the scroll and a seal appeared on it. He channeled chakra into the seal. A puff of smoke appeared, revealing 2 tints. He smiled along with Sakura. She was quick to point out something. There's only 2 tints. The logical solution would be that Sasuke would have to share a tint with Naruto since they were both boys. But Sakura wouldn't mind having to share a tint with Sasuke. In fact, she wasn't shy to say it. She would have suggested it. "You two will use the tints. I will keep watch while you sleep," Naruto said. Sakura had no complaints of what Naruto said, but Sasuke did. "Naruto, why don't you sleep in the tint? I will take the first watch and wake you up after some time," he suggested, not wanting to sleep near Sakura. Naruto shrugged. If Sasuke wanted to keep watch, he could watch. But that didn't mean that he was going to sleep in the tent. He opened his scroll. It was the same as Sasuke's. He channeled chakra into the seal, and puff of smoke gave birth to 3 food containers and 3 bottles of water. Sakura's stomach growled as her eyes looked at the food. She hadn't eaten anything in the morning. She didn't wait for Naruto to give her the food. She crawled over to the container and took it. She retreated to her spot and began to eat the fish and bread Naruto brought. She ate with manners. Despite her hunger, she refused to eat like a pig in front of her beloved Sasuke. Sasuke took his container and ate his food peacefully. Naruto did the same. He was glad that he had him to count on. They stayed in silence as night reigned over them. Sakura was the first one to sleep. With all the walking on a whole day made her tired, and needed sleep to replenish her stamina. Naruto stayed up with Sasuke. It was before midnight that Sasuke became sleepy. He tried to resist, but sleep deprivation was taking over. Sasuke looked at Naruto. "Wake me up in 3 hours so I can take watch while you sleep," he said before crawling into the tent. A clone Naruto was jumping from tree to branch, searching for more prey to kill. He used his nose to scent a trace. He found 3 traces 2 miles from the north and followed it. A few minutes he found the trace. After landing on a branch, hiding his presence, he saw 3 Kusa tied next to a tree with 3 people that belonged to the hidden steam village. He couldn't help but feel reminiscent about those 3 Kusa. He knew something about these 3 that they didn't know themselves. "Oi, let's kill these 2, but leave the girl. We could have some fun with her." He smirked. The 2 men glared at him, while the girl's expression darkened looking at him. Before the man could touch her, his hand was cut off. He grabbed his wound in pain before looking at the man cutting his arm in seething rage. "You brat! I'll kill Dash." He didn't finish his sentence as his head went flying off his shoulders. The 2 steam ninja eyes widened and stepped back a little. The 3 Kusa Genin's eyes widened. They were shaking, looking at him in fear, before they realized something. Their bondages were loose. How? How did he cut the rope without looking back? Naruto grabbed a scroll and threw it behind him. The scroll was open before a puff of smoke existed, showing 2 swords that were 15 inches and 6 centimeters, and that had a black handle. They landed next to the green-haired woman and black-haired man. The final weapon was unique. It was an axe that was connected to a spike flail with chains. It landed to the brown-haired boy, who looks at the weapon in awe. The 3 genin looked at him, confusion on why he gave them these weapons. "My apologies for calling you weak. I haven't saw the potential you had within you, and made the mistake by calling you annoyances. You have my most sincerest apologies." He spoke without looking back at them. His words surprised them because they thought of this man being arrogant and wouldn't apologize. "The weapons I have given you will unlock that potential inside of you. Good luck." He disappears, leaving the 3 genin with the 2 steam ninjas. The steam nins quickly got out of their stupor and charged at them with kunai in their hands. The 3 Kusa genins quickly grabbed their new weapons and blocked their attackers, while the brown hair man throwed his axe at them, making them dodge. The 2 ninja got irritated and made some hand signs, creating 5 clones made out of steam. They separated them by 2s, leaving the 2 with swords with the clones, and the 1 with the axe with the originals. Naruto's clone was sitting on a branch watching the battle. He had to know if those 3 had those techniques. "Kokushibo-sensei, do you feel it?" He spoke to his father figure, who nodded his head. "Yes, I feel a similar reminiscence aura coming through them." The 3 Kusa genins were losing the fight. They were about to give up when they heard voices in their head. "Focus, push forward." They stood their ground and charged at them, while the voice in their head grew louder. "Say it." Wind/stone breathing. Dust whirlwind cutter /serpentinite bipolar. They shouted. 2 whirlwinds attacked the clones, shredded them. They sustained cuts and damage while screaming in pain. They've dispersed. The axe and flail were thrown in a circular motion, drilling into the opponent, leaving 2 holes in their chest, killing them quickly. The 3 of them stood there, not believing what they just did. They heard clapping sound and turned around to see who it was. It was Naruto. Naruto was amused by their display. He'd never thought that there would be other breathing users other than him. This put a smile on his face, knowing this information. Perhaps this test won't be boring after all. He walked towards them before stopping 5 meters in front of them. They held their guard up. "What do you want?" The green-haired spoke. "Nothing. I just want to apologize for calling you an annoyance earlier." He slightly bowed before regaining his composure. He grabbed a scroll of earth out of kimono and 3 different scrolls with different writing and threw it towards them. They grabbed it, looking at him in confusion and a little suspicious. "Why? Why would you give this to us?" The green-haired spoke. Their stances still weren't wavering at him before he spoke. "You're strong. You have potential to defeat half of the genins in this exam. I gave you a little boost, and as a reward you get an earth scroll and different techniques to use." He answered, shocking before smiling at him. The Kusa genins smiled at him. "Thank you," the brown-haired said. Naruto nodded and started to walk away before stopping and looked towards them. "Michikatsu Ijakuni," he said. The brown-haired spoke. "I'm Kazo Yakusho. The one on the left is Hideo Junsuna. The one in the middle is Kashiwa Hane." Naruto nodded at the information. I look forward seeing you three in the preliminaries." He blitzed, leaving the three alone. "He's kind of cute," Kashiwa thought while blushing a little. Kazo saw the blush on her face and smiled deviously. "Huh? What's this? Is Kashiwa having a crush on Michikatsu-san?" He teased before receiving a punch to the gut. "No, you baka." She denied while her blush increased. Hideo shakes his head. "Come on, let's find an area to sleep for tonight." They nodded and searched for a place to rest. Morning. Naruto woke his teammates up as it was time to move on towards the tower. They couldn't waste any more time sleeping. They've already wasted enough time already. Sasuke looked at Naruto. "Why didn't you wake me up? Did I tell you when I was going to you up? Besides, I already tried, and you're heavy sleeper." Naruto replied, earning a small glare from Sasuke. They were about to hit the road when Sakura spoke. "Hey guys, what about the tents? Aren't we going to need them if we don't reach the tower before the end of the day?" "We'll make it," Naruto said, looking at the tents and at Sasuke. "Burn them with a fire jutsu." Sasuke didn't like taking order from Naruto but complied anyway and did a fire jutsu to burn the tents. They hopped onto the trees and made their way to the tower. A few hours later, they had been traveling for 3 hours. It wasn't non-stop. They've allowed to take a few breaks to allow Sakura to regain her strength. Had it not been for the girl, they would have covered a lot of ground by now. It annoyed both Naruto and Sasuke and the number of breaks they had to take because Sakura always got tired of running after a few minutes. Sakura was by no means a stamina freak like Naruto. Naruto had more stamina than Kakashi, so she couldn't compare herself with him. She had only seen him slightly winded once. But even when he was winded, he still pushed forward like he wasn't tired. She didn't always understand where he got his energy from. He always seems to have more energy than anyone. Even before the academy, he always seemed so energetic. Naruto stopped suddenly, causing his teammates to do the same. "Someone strong is following us." After those words left his mouth, gust of wind hit the Genins, sending them flying. Even Naruto was caught. He hadn't been fast enough to react after sensing the chakra build up. The gust of wind was strong, but other than sending Team 7 flying towards trees, there were no other injuries. A nin wearing a Kusagakure forehead protector appeared in front of the Genin. The Kusanine was a woman. She unleashed her murderous killing intent. She enjoyed the looks on the Genin's faces. Seeing the fear and disparity made her unleash the intensity more. The Genins froze at their place. The killing intent had put them under an illusion. They watched themselves be killed in different ways. It was terrifying to watch your own death. None was more affected than Sakura. The girl was on her knees, shuddering with her eyes wide. The experience she was having was far more worse than what she experienced at Wave when Zabuza unleashed his killing intent. It was unbearable. She wished nothing more than death to make it stop. Sasuke had thought it was a Genjutsu at first when he was seeing his death, but he had came to a realization that it wasn't an illusion. It was only the affects of killing intent by the Kusanine. His body failed to obey any commands to his mind. His mind was screaming for his legs to carry him and run away, but all that got was silence from his feet. The pressure of the killing intent was too much that it forced his knees to stay onto the ground. But he wasn't shuddering like Sakura. This time he couldn't blame her for shuddering in fear. Even he was trying his best from trying to keep his fluids from leaving his body. Naruto had experienced such level of killing intent. He had been exposed by Kokushibo and Kyuubi's intent so much that he'd been resilient to the horror of strong killing intent. He could tell by whoever this person was as strong, so strong that he knew that he couldn't defeat. Soon, after sweating a few bullets, he shrugged off the killing intent and looked at the Kusanine with an unreadable expression. The Kusanine looked at him amused by seeing him shrugging of her killing intent. She could have done worse than she was doing at the moment, but she chooses not to. Her tongue escaped from her mouth and extended to a length that no human should. The tongue kissed the frame of her lips as she got ready to play with her praise. The Kusanine dashed forwards at Sasuke, who was still suffering from the pressure of killing intent. To him, he felt like a ton of boulders hefted on his shoulders. Upon seeing the Kusanine charging at him, Sasuke took out a kunai and stabbed his leg to wear of the killing intent. His plan worked as he recovered and jumped away in time to avoid being hit by the Kusanine. He jumped on a tree branch and stared back at the Kusanine. Naruto found himself staring at a yellow, silted eye of a large snake. The snake's eyes shined with a glint of malice as its fangs extended from its mouth. The snake rushed at him at fast speed. His attention was now taken away from Sasuke and the Kusanine. He jumped to avoid the snake's mouth. The snake followed him. Its head crashed into a tree he was on, destroying it. Naruto wondered what a snake was doing here. Of all the times it chose to attack him while his team was being attacked at the same time, it was too much of a coincidence. He sheathed his sword and rushed at the snake. Naruto jumped up onto the snake's head, while the snake tried to shake him or his head, but Naruto held on firmly. He channeled fire chakra to his blade and stabbed the snake's head. The snake hissed and shook violently. Naruto jumped off the snake and landed on the ground. He really shouldn't be dragged into a fight with a snake. The snake rushed at him at a fast pace. Naruto rushed at it too. He threw his fire-enchanted blade straight into the snake's right eye, piercing it. The snake hissed in pain. Naruto rushed at the snake and jumped onto its head again. He withdrew his blade from the snake's eye. He punched the snake on its head, but his attempt didn't take too much damage to the snake. He jumped away from the snake. The snake opened its mouth and rushed at Naruto. Its fangs attracted to his flesh as the fangs got closer to him. Naruto looked at the mouth and jumped away from the snake. The snake missed him and landed face first into the ground. Naruto stretched out his senses, finding the Kusanine was still fighting Sasuke, and there was no other person than Sakura near the place. Naruto decided to stop toying with the snake and finish him off. He quickly did some hand signs. Katon, Jigaku no Hano, Fire Style, Hell Flame, he muttered before creating an arrow and shooting at it towards the snake. The snake hissed in pain, inflicting on by the flames. The snake began to roll uncontrollably on the ground while the flames kept burning it. Naruto looked away from the snake. He was glad that his test worked out perfectly. He blurred away. Had he stayed a bit longer, he would have noticed the snake bursting into a puff of smoke. Sasuke stared at the Kusanine and then at Sakura. She seemed to have been doing fine. He saw a snake chase after Naruto. He didn't have to worry about him since he knew he would take care of himself. Right now he needed to worry about himself. His opponent was strong, he could feel that. The Kusanine chuckled, looking at his prey. Sasuke could see the Kusanine's eyes were the eyes of a predator. He was the prey, and she was the predator. She was staring at him with all its glory. "Come at me with all you got, Sasuke-kun." The Kusanine spoke with a grin. Sasuke didn't want to be told twice. He charged at the Kusanine. The Kusanine blocked a kick that was directed to her temple. Sasuke tried to kick the Kusanine again, but his attempt was blocked again. Sasuke jumped back from the predator and activated his Sharingan. The Kusanine seemed to enjoy seeing the Sharingan being activated. "Yes, that's it, Sasuke-kun, show me what you can do," she thought as she continued to chuckle mirthlessly, unnerving Sasuke. He dashed forwards at her and attempted to punch her face. But the Kusanine leaned back, and to avoid his attack, Sasuke leaned forward and tried another punch at the gut, but the Kusanine jumped, avoided being hit. Sasuke dashed forward, not leaving his opponent a chance. He jumped up into the air and attempted to punch the Kusanine while the earth pulled him down. The Kusanine brought out her hands and blocked Sasuke's attempts. She tried to punch Sasuke on the chest, but Sasuke was able to see the attack thanks to his Sharingan. He jumped back to avoid being hit. The Kusanine rushed at him and tried to kick him, but Sasuke blocked the kick with his knee. Sasuke's right fist flew into the Kusanine's face, but she blended down to avoid the attack. Sasuke saw an opening and got down and attempted a leg sweep. But the Kusanine jumped, returning the favor by trying to kick to his face. He was able to see the kick coming but wasn't able to dodge or block the attack. He felt like he was being hit twice. Sasuke hit a tree with a grunt that followed him after the impact. "Is that all you can do, Sasuke-kun? Even with your Sharingan?" The Kusanine said while chuckling, earning a glare from Sasuke. He was trying to understand who this person was. He couldn't land a hit on this person. The Kusanine didn't give Sasuke a chance to clear his thoughts. He dashed towards the Uchiha. Sasuke was forced to dodge a power punch that shattered the branch he was standing on. Then the Kusanine charged at Sasuke again. They engaged in a taijutsu fight. Sasuke smirked as he landed a hit on the Kusanine's face. He didn't stop there as he added a kick to the chest, sending the Kusanine flying. He continued smirking, thinking that it wasn't hopeless after all as he at first thought. Naruto returned a few moments earlier and was watching the fight with interest. The Kusanine seemed to have his eyes on Sasuke only as he suspected. Sasuke still had yet to make a move. Sakura, who was watching the fight with worry written all over her face. Sasuke did some hand seals for his favorite jutsu, Katon. Gokaku no Jutsu, Fire Style, Great Fireball, he muttered as the fireball sped at the Kusanin. His smirk grew when he saw his jutsu hit the Kusanin. He ended his jutsu and saw the Kusanin standing there with his devilish grin plastered in his face as if nothing had happened. His eyes widened in disbelief. It shouldn't have been possible for someone to take on that jutsu head-on and still stand there as if nothing had happened. He watched the Kusanin's skin began to peel off, revealing a pale skin. The Kusanin blurred out of view and appeared behind Sasuke. Sasuke was kicked hard in the back and was sent crashing towards a tree. Sasuke grunted as he hit the tree. He got up panting and looked back at the Kusanin. The Kusanin looked at Sasuke with calculating eyes. Sasuke was indeed a skilled young boy. She had proven it, and her eyes liked and witnessed of what she saw from him. Naruto took the time to announce his presence before Sasuke got killed. But he felt that the Kusanin was just playing with Sasuke. He felt that if the Kusanin wanted to kill Sasuke, she would have done it already. She had many opportunities to inflict serious damage to him but didn't. It was making him answer a lot of questions. First it was the snake, now it was this. There were only questions that he felt worthy of being asked at the moment. His eyes traveled towards the Kusanin. Who are you? Naruto stood there still staring at the Kusanin, waiting for an answer. He truly was curious as to who this person was. It wasn't every day that one found such a strong person in the Chunin exams. With the power that Kusanin had, he shouldn't have been genin. And there was also this person's clear interest in Sasuke Uchiha. The Kusanin wasn't the only person interested in Sasuke. There was also Kabuto, who showed interest in Sasuke at the first part of the exams. I'm the one who should be asking the questions, Naruto-kun. The Kusanin replied, sounding amused. Naruto inwardly irked at the name, but didn't show it. He stood there staring at the Kusanin before sighing. He wasn't going to get the answers he requested. By the way, look of things, the Kusanin just wanted to play around with them. He could always join and have some entertainment as well. Naruto charged at the Kusanin, engaging the Kusanin in a taijutsu battle. He tried punching the Kusanin in the face, but she jumped back to avoid Naruto's punch. Naruto followed her and tried kicking her as a follow-up to his dodged punch. The Kusanin caught his attack with little effort. Naruto was expecting something like that. So in quick movement, his fist connected with the Kusanin's face, sending her flying away from him. Naruto didn't stop with his attacks as he dashed towards the Kusanin with jounin speed. She was worthy for it. Naruto appeared in front of the Kusanin and pummeled her to the ground. With both his hands, she was sent crashing down and created a crater upon impact. Naruto jumped onto a tree branch and looked at the Kusanin. She got up from the crater and looked at Naruto with a malicious smile. So the rumors about you were true, Naruto. Naruto looked at the woman carefully. She didn't seem to have taken any damage or even bothered by his attacks at all. She looked to have brushed them off like it was nothing. He had thought it would cause a bit of damage, even if it was little. The Kusanin charged at Naruto and tried to punch him in the chest, but Naruto blocked her blow with his hands. She tried to kick him with her right foot. She landed a powerful kick on his chest, making him crash towards the tree hard. The Kusanin appeared in front of him again. You're better than Sasuke-kun, but I have no interest with you at the moment. The Kusanin said, punching Naruto hard in the stomach. Naruto grunted. He felt the punch connect with his gut. He coughed a bit of saliva and fell on his knees while clutching his stomach in pain. The Kusanin turned her back on him and looked back at Sasuke. Sasuke stood there watching with wide eyes. He hadn't seen anyone manhandle Naruto. Whenever he'd seen Naruto fight with an enemy, he'd always win each time. He had never been beaten with ease, like he'd been some kind of weak genin. He started to fear for his life now. If the Kusanin could defeat Naruto with ease. Despite the face that Naruto was superior to him, the Kusanin turned to Naruto again and kicked him in the temple, sending him flying. She looked back at Sasuke again. Now, Sasuke-kun, shall we continue where we were? The Kusanin said, looking at Sasuke with a wide grin that sent chills up his spine. Sasuke didn't know what to do at the moment. He was overwhelmed with fear. His legs failed to respond to the commands he gave to it. The Kusanin rushed at him, slamming her foot into his gut. Sasuke was sent flying. He held his stomach while panting. The Kusanin was in front of him again. Sasuke reacted quicker by pulling out a kunai from his pouch and stabbed the Kusanin's neck. But the Kusanine crumbled into dust, making Sasuke's eyes widen. He didn't even realize he hit a clone even with his Sharingan. His time to be shocked was cut short as soon as the Kusanine appeared behind him and kicked him, sending him flying. Sasuke hit a tree and fell down to the ground. He got up panting and tried to look for the Kusanine. "Are you looking for me, Sasuke-kun?" The Kusanine called out in mirth. Sasuke gritted his teeth in frustration. He was unable to find the Kusanine anywhere despite hearing her voice. He was also getting beat up, something that he hated with his Uchiha pride. Naruto looked from the tree as he recovered from his fight with the Kusanines. He replaced himself with a clone and hid somewhere he couldn't been seen. He did it in a way that no one could see him. The clone remained on the tree, acting beat up while he hid. He used the transcendental world and his senses to see where the Kusanine was hiding, but she couldn't see him nor sense him. He had hidden himself in the shadows. He didn't want to use it but had no choice. He used his Uzumaki Kekai Genkai and started to build blue flames from his hands. He concentrated on the Kusanine. Finally locked onto his target, he shortens the flames to create a round ball, and once he was finished he threw it at the Kusanine. He muttered, "Harubarizu, Hellblaze." The blue flames engulfed the Kusanine. She wasn't able to sense the built-up chakra in his hands to dodge the attack. As the blue flames began to eat her body, she fell down from the tree she was concealing her position at. She fell to the ground while screaming in pain. The blue flames' heat began to increase, and there was no way to extinguish them. Once they'd been caught in them, they were surely going to die, unless the flames were put out by the person who ignited them. She stopped rolling on the ground and her mouth opened. Another body came from her mouth looking perfectly fine, but the body was different from the Kusanine. Naruto turned off his Kekai Genkai and dispelled his clone. If what he saw shocked him, he hid it well. He walked up to the clearing and looked at the black-haired male with pale skin and yellow eyes, Orochimaru. Orochimaru looked at Naruto with his malicious grin firmly in place. That jutsu that had hit him was defiantly not an ordinary jutsu. Had it not been for his ability to shed his skin, he would have been turned to dust by the blue flames. He would never want to get hit by the jutsu anytime soon. The flames devoured his body instead of burning. A normal fire would have given him third-degree burns. It made him curious. If he wasn't mistaken that those flames could rival the Uchiha's black flames that could only have been used by the Manjikyu Sharingan. He had researched everything about the Sharingan and thus knew about the jutsu. He looked at Naruto with calculating eyes. It wasn't Sasuke who had used the jutsu. Sasuke had yet to awaken the Manjikyu. He didn't sense any other presence close by, which means it had to be Naruto who did the jutsu. But that only begged a question. How? What kind of jutsu did Naruto use? It wasn't the black flames the Uchiha use, and it wasn't a fireball jutsu either. So what? He couldn't understand how Naruto was able to do that. On the outside, he looked like he was enjoying something, but on the inside his head had been triggered and unable to find any answer. The only way to get answers was to do it the easy way. An interesting jutsu, Naruto-kun. Can you tell me how you did it? As far I know, those flames can rival the Manjikyu's flames. Naruto wasn't going to answer his question. The answer he would give Orochimaru would just make him curious. He wasn't going to make him more curious about him. Doing like that would be a waste of time for him. He didn't want to share his secrets or powers to him. But then again, toying with Orochimaru a little bit would be entertaining. I should have noticed sooner that it was you. It wasn't a coincidence that a snake attacked me just after you made your presence known. There are your summons, Naruto said. What's an S-rank criminal doing in the Chunin exams? He brushed off Orochimaru's curiosity about his jutsu. Sakura was now shuddering. She heard Naruto say Orochimaru but didn't recognize the name at first, but when she heard S-rank criminal, she recognized him. He was one of the 3 legendary ninjas. There was no way they were going to make it out alive with their enemy being a Sannin. She'd abandoned hope with the thought of her enemy being a Sannin. She didn't even feel safe knowing that Sasuke and Naruto were there. If Naruto didn't stand a chance against a Sannin, there was no way Sasuke could. Naruto saw Orochimaru's grin faltered for a second before it appeared again. Orochimaru was dissatisfied with his response. He'd thought that Naruto would be kind enough to answer his question, but it didn't seem that his questions weren't going to be answered. But the fact that Naruto avoided his answering his question made him more curious. You are proving to be an interesting genin, Naruto-kun. But as I said before, you are not what I'm interested in. Orochimaru said with a dark chuckle while he eyed Sasuke with calculating eyes. Naruto never took his eyes off Orochimaru. Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto said aloud what Orochimaru was interested in. What could you as Sannin could possibly want with Sasuke? His hatred, Sharingan, skills. What is it that you find interesting in Sasuke? Naruto asked, trying to find out why Orochimaru would risk coming to Konoha because of Sasuke. Orochimaru seemed amused by Naruto's questions. He didn't respond for a moment though. He narrowed his eyes at Sasuke and looked back at Naruto. He chuckled darkly. He rushed at Naruto in great speed. Naruto saw the Sannin coming and jumped onto a tree branch. Naruto knew he couldn't defeat Orochimaru even with power. Fighting a Sannin was out of his league. He could fight a few Jounins, but a Sannin was too much for him at his current level of strength. It just meant he had too much training until he surpassed all the Sannins. Given that he couldn't defeat Orochimaru, he wasn't even afraid of dying. He knew that Orochimaru didn't want them dead. He wanted them to live. If he wanted them dead, he would have already killed Sakura by now, or even Sasuke. Orochimaru followed Naruto onto the trees, but this time a little faster than before. He appeared in front of Naruto and tried to level him with an uppercut. Naruto jumped back to avoid being hit. He was fast enough to react. Had he not been able to dodge the punch, it would have done him no good. The wind breezes his face, which made him realize that Orochimaru had put a lot of power behind that punch. He sensed that Orochimaru was still holding back his speed, but the power of the punch was strong enough to knock out any genin. While Naruto was still jumping away from him, Orochimaru appeared in front of Naruto. Had it not been for Sasuke, I would certainly have been interested in you. Don't worry, I'll never forget this encounter. Orochimaru whispered to Naruto. Naruto quickly jumped back, but Orochimaru was on his tail. Naruto's path was blocked by the tree behind him. Orochimaru built up chakra to his fist and punched Naruto, making him hit a tree. Smoke covered around him. Orochimaru was about to return to Sasuke when he heard a crack next to him. The three looked at the noise. To Team 7, they were shocked, while Orochimaru looked at him surprised. Naruto's entire body was covered in ice, and it seemed that the half of the right side was broken, which indicated where Orochimaru punched him. Hayaton, Karini Yoroi, Ice Release, Ice Armor. Naruto punched Orochimaru in the face with his left hand, sending him flying towards the bark of the tree. He charged at him using his Hayaton. He created a weapon to strike him with. Hayaton, Korinatsurugi, Ice Release, Ice Sword. Orochimaru dodged the attack and charged at him. He tried to kick Naruto's waist, but Naruto lifted up his knee and blocked the kick. Orochimaru brought out his left leg and tried to kick Naruto, but Naruto blocked the blow, again with his knee. Naruto wanted his hand free so that he would deal with Orochimaru. He brought his right fist and tried to punch Naruto in the face, but Naruto blocked the attack. Orochimaru wasn't surprised as he anticipated Naruto blocking the attack. He moved quickly and kneed Naruto on his gut. Naruto hissed while clutching his stomach. Orochimaru kicked him harder than he'd anticipated. Orochimaru punched Naruto in the face and spun around for a roundhouse high kick. He kicked Naruto in the temples, sending him crashing into the trees. He grinned. He had put a lot of power behind the kick. He wanted to get out of the forest before Anbu sensed him within the forest. It would get quite messy if Anbu were to come to the forest. Orochimaru wasn't given time to recover from his one-sided battle with Naruto as Sasuke came flying towards him. He sensed the boy charging at him and spun around to face the boy. Sasuke tried punching the Sannin to the face, but Orochimaru caught Sasuke's hand. He held it tightly and began to squeeze it, making Sasuke grunt. Orochimaru looked at Sasuke's eyes with a malicious grin, earning a slight shiver from Sasuke. Orochimaru kneed Sasuke on the gut while holding his arm. It was more than just pain to Sasuke, and he was starting to think that there was nothing he could do about it. Orochimaru gripped Sasuke's face and sent him crashing towards the trees. He charged at the Uchiha with Jounin speed, but was stopped on his tracks by a kick to the face that sent him flying backwards. The only reason he was hit was because he had thought Naruto wouldn't be able to wake up anytime soon after the beating he gave to him. Naruto charged at Orochimaru again in great speed. He was welcomed to a punch by the gut. "You did good, Naruto-kun, catching me off guard like that," Orochimaru said with a low chuckle. He grabbed Naruto's face and smashed him down to the ground. The impact formed a crater on the ground. Orochimaru crashed his foot onto Naruto's chest. Orochimaru heard a cracking sound coming from Naruto, only to see a clone made of ice. Orochimaru looked at the clone in surprise before blocking a punch from Naruto to his left side. He uppercut Naruto's face and grabbed his neck. Naruto was having a hard time breathing because his body was beginning to wear out and Orochimaru's hand was on his neck, making it difficult for him to breathe. He struggled to get out of Orochimaru's grip, but to no avail. Orochimaru slammed him to the ground. "You're quite interesting, Naruto-kun, but please stay down. Sasuke-kun is waiting for me. It's hopeless. I'm going to die." Sasuke thought to himself with wide eyes. He had seen how Naruto was defeated like he was nothing. He had seen Naruto had been defeated easily, and there was no way he would have zero chance against the enemy. The man was a Sannin after all. There was no hope for a Genin like him going against a Sannin. Orochimaru enjoyed seeing the terrified face of Sasuke. He loved seeing his prey cower on fear. "Stay back. Don't come any closer." Sasuke stuttered out seeing Orochimaru coming to his way. Orochimaru didn't stop. He slowly made his way over to him with calculating eyes. "Don't you want power, Sasuke-kun?" Orochimaru asked with a wide grin. Sasuke lost his fear and took a confused look on his face. He wanted power. What confused him was why Orochimaru would ask him that kind of question. Orochimaru stopped in front of Sasuke and spoke again. "I know you want power to kill Itachi, Sasuke-kun, and I can give you that power." Sasuke's eyes burned with hatred the moment Itachi's name was registered into his mind. He hated him more than anything. Orochimaru's smile widened after seeing the hatred in Sasuke's eyes. His neck extended in lengths that no human should extend. Two large fangs grew from his mouth as his head traveled towards Sasuke's neck. Sasuke just froze, not knowing what to do. Orochimaru's fangs bit Sasuke's neck before retreating his head back to his neck. Sasuke screamed in pain before falling down. "Sasuke-kun!" Sakura screamed while rushing to Sasuke. She heard him bellow in pain. It wasn't healthy. She needed to see if she was okay. Orochimaru looked at Sakura with a wide grin. He chuckled more darkly. He'd received what he had came for and more. It was only a matter of time before Sasuke came to him looking for power. Orochimaru was amused by this girl's bravery. "I gave him a gift that will help him avenge his clan." Orochimaru replied as he was about to sink with the earth before seeing Naruto pulling out his sword, muttering. Moon breathing first form. Dark moon, evening palace. Crescents of moons descended on Orochimaru. He quickly changed bodies, leaving the other one to deal with the attack. The body was shredded in half. Orochimaru looked at Naruto, who looked hazed. He chuckled while looking amused. Naruto was making him more curious as before. He emerged in the earth without leaving a trace. With Naruto sheathed his sword and brought his hands to his face. He stared at them for a moment. Today he had been embarrassed. Nobody had beaten him like Orochimaru had done. A Sannin was truly strong, but to be thrown like a ragged doll was too damning to his pride. Orochimaru had toyed with him. He'd showed him the difference of their power. It made him feel weak. He hated feeling weak. To think that I would get beaten like this despite all the training I did. Naruto thought aloud. Even though he was still hiding some of his power, it didn't change the fact that he was beaten. Taijutsu had been what he practiced the most while training with his father figure. "I wonder what would Kokushibo-sensei say seeing me like this?" He thought aloud again. Kokushibo certainly wouldn't have been pleased with his performance despite not going all out. It wouldn't made much of a difference. Orochimaru was more stronger than he was. When he thought he was going all out, Kokushibo had told him he'd go all out against the Hashiras. To surpass Kokushibo, he had to focus on training instead of trying hard to be Chunin. Naruto shook his head and got up. His body was beat, but he could last a few more hours. He dusted himself up and wiped the blood off his mouth. He walked over to his teammates. Naruto looked at his teammates. Sakura was kneeling beside Sasuke, who looked unconscious. He walked over to them and inspected Sasuke. Sasuke didn't have much damage to his body, unlike him. There was a strange seal on his neck. He figured that it must have been Orochimaru's cursed seal of heaven. With Sasuke unconscious, he would have to be carried if they were able to get to the tower before night started. Sakura looked at Naruto. She didn't know what to say after watching him get beat up. His kimono was torn up, his right sleeve had been ripped and was ragged. Besides all that, he looked like someone who had just went through a rough beating. Naruto picked up Sasuke and placed him on his shoulder. He looked at Sakura. let's head straight to the tower. I don't want to spend another night in this forest, he said. Sakura nodded, as she didn't want to spend another night in this forest. And going to the tower now was a good idea since they would take Sasuke to a medic. She felt his body heating up. If he was sick, they needed to take him to a medic for treatment. They also didn't know what Orochimaru had done to Sasuke. So getting to the tower, they would surely have met somebody who could tell them what's wrong with Sasuke. A few hours later, it was already past noon. Naruto and Sakura had been running at fast speeds. It was most surprising that Sakura was able to keep up with Naruto without complaining about being tired. Sakura understood that it wasn't the time to be lazy, but a time for her to endure everything and keep going until they reached the tower. They had only taken 2 breaks since they continued on their journey to the tower after their encounter with Orochimaru. Nothing interesting had happened in their way. They had just been traveling in comfortable silence. No one said a word to the other. Naruto had a lot on his mind and would rather be quiet than having to deal with Sakura. Sakura, on the other hand, was worried about Sasuke and didn't know how to start a conversation with Naruto without Sasuke being active. So she decided to stay silent as much as she could. While they were running, she kept glancing at Naruto. She'd never seen him this worn out before since the formation of Team 7, but she was glad nonetheless that he was carrying Sasuke to the tower. They had yet to meet another team while on their way to the tower. It was becoming a troubling fact to Sakura since they would fail if they didn't get the scroll they needed. But at the moment, while looking at Sasuke, whose temperature seemed to be rising up, she thought the most important thing was getting Sasuke to safety. Naruto suddenly fell down on his knees while he was running. Sasuke was still on his shoulder. His body was in pain. He didn't understand what was causing this pain. During the encounter with Orochimaru, he didn't receive any blows that would cause his body to experience the pain he was currently feeling. Sakura was alarmed when she saw Naruto fall to his knees. She hurried close to him. "Naruto, are you all right?" she asked, sounding concerned. With the look on her face, it was obvious her question didn't betray what she truly felt. Naruto looked at the girl for a second. She would asked him with that kind of question before. He thought it was because he'd never been in pain in her presence before. He gathered up his strength and got up while still carrying Sasuke. "I'm fine," he said. "We'll take a break not far from here. There should be a stream up ahead." Sakura nodded. She was getting hungry. She hadn't eaten anything since morning, and all the traveling had made her hungry. At the stream, she would freshen up a bit and get some fish to eat. An hour later, Team 7 had reached the stream. Naruto had placed Sasuke under a tree, allowing Sakura to tend his wounds. He had yet to wake up after his encounter with Orochimaru. His heat was still rising. Naruto couldn't tell what was wrong with Sasuke's body, but he was certain that his body was heating because of the curse mark Orochimaru had placed on him. He didn't understand what the curse seal did to a person's body because he had no depth of knowledge about the seal. Naruto and Sakura were currently eating some fish they had caught. They both ate in silence, courage to do so. Finally, she had courage. "Naruto, what's that mark on Sasuke-kun's neck?" Naruto responded without even looking at the girl. "It's a cursed seal." Sakura looked confused. She had never heard anything about a cursed seal. "What is a cursed seal?" Naruto looked at her and replied, "It's a seal created by Orochimaru that gives the wielder power." The look Naruto gave to Sakura was a one to a girl to ask no more questions. Naruto got up and turned to the stream. "Change of plans. You'll stay here until Sasuke wakes up. I will find some teams to search for a heaven scroll," he said, making his way to the trees. Sakura looked at Naruto worriedly. "Are you sure? You're injured," she remarked. Naruto sighed at the girl's question. "I'll be all right." He disappears. After that, Sakura looked at Sasuke while removing the wet towel from his forehead. Naruto continued jumping on the trees until his nose caught a scent. The scent was coming from his direction, maybe 3 or 4 miles. He quickened his pace to follow it. After about 5 minutes, he finally reached his destination and saw something intriguing. He saw the other AIM ninja. They were battling ninja from the land of Waterfall. He'd seen cuts, scrapes, and sweat dripping from the AIM ninja, indicating that they've been fighting with them for a few minutes. Naruto saw the stances and flashbacks emerge from his, causing him to grip his head in pain. The stances, breathing style, and the fights with the upper moon made it clear that these 3 might have the same technique as him and the other 3. If that was the case, Naruto's face smiled with joy and glee. This exam started to wane his interest more and more. He needed to do what he did before. Give them a push. The AIM Nines were beginning to tire out due to the energy they've used fighting against their enemy. They were starting to lose their strength and were about to be defeated when they felt something touch their back. They turned around and saw the person who insulted them in the first round. What are you doing?" A blue-haired girl says while looking at him in confusion, hate, tiredness, and wariness towards him. Naruto didn't anything for a moment before saying, "Giving you a little push." He stated before pushing them, making them charge forwards to the Taki Nines. At first, they thought he was sending them to their deaths, but they felt a sensation they've never felt before as fastened the pace and grabbed their kunai or sword. While the voices in their head kept chanting, "Use it. What are you for? Use it." The voice kept booming in their head. They shifted their stances. The Taki Nin thought that they had gotten a good chance of striking them down. But the AIM Nines switched their stances as the voices in their head kept getting louder and louder. "What are you waiting for? This is your chance to use it. So use it." Water/mist breathing. Shifting flow/water wheel. The two males dashed forward at an alarming fast pace, cutting their enemy's head off. The girl created a wheel made of water. She came at him at a fast pace. He didn't have time to block the attack as he was horizontally cut by his shoulders. The three AIM Nin was shocked by their results. They looked at the person who helped them. They narrowed their eyes at him as if demanding him to tell them what he had done to them. "What did you do us?" A boy with gray, combed hair asked warily while holding a kunai. Naruto looked at them before saying, "I gave you a push." He stated, "This didn't ease their nerves. You know what I mean. What did you give us?" The gray-haired shouted as the other two pointed their swords at him. "It wasn't me," Naruto admitted while pointing his finger at them. "It was all you. That power that you displayed was your potential," he stated while they put their weapons down, still looking at him in confusion. Naruto sighed. "The power you used was hidden inside you. It was at its boiling point when you fought those Taki Nins. All I did was give you a push, and that broke the bubble," he said while pulling out a spare Earth Scroll he stole from another team he massacred. "How about a trade? I'll trade my Earth Scroll for your extra Heaven Scroll." The AIM Nins were surprised that he knew that they had an extra Heaven Scroll, but they couldn't say no for an answer. They wanted to pass this exam to please their lord back at their home and wanted to make him proud. "Deal. Dan, give him the scroll." The blue hair told her teammate who was by her right. The blonde seemed reluctant at first, but took out the scroll of heaven, and both him and Naruto threw it to each other, catching it. Naruto took the scroll and placed it in his kimono. Then he did something that surprised the AIM Genins. He slightly bowed. "You have my apologies for calling you weak. If I had known you that you had this kind of power, I wouldn't have assumed you weak. You have my apologies." The AIM Genins were off guard by this statement. The last thing they thought he would have done was apologize. Naruto walked away before looking back at them. "I look forward to seeing you three at the finals," he said before disappearing. "We got the scrolls we needed, let's get to the tower," the gray-haired man said while walking to a tree. The blonde was walking, but stopped to look at his other teammate who still stood there, looking at the area where the guy was standing. He smirked and decided to tease her. "Wow, are you falling for him?" he teased before receiving a punch to the gut. "Hard. Don't be ridiculous, Dan," Nora said, but had a huge blush on her face. Nora turned around and looked amused by the scene before being serious again. "Come on, you two, let's go." They both nodded and jumped to the trees, while Dan still rubbed his stomach. Naruto returned to the area to where his teammates were resting. He made it there, only to see Sakura with her hair cut, Lee on the ground while his teammates were one a branch, Team 10 fighting Odonins, and feeling Sasuke's dark power. Naruto sighed. Today was not his day. He looked at the corpse from the village of Takigakure, burned corpse, before disappearing and appeared in the middle of the, making everyone stop and look at him. Sakura looked relieved to see her other teammates. "Naruto, yo dash." She stopped mid-sentence as she saw the corpse he was holding, making her look petrified. Team 10 looked horrified. The Odonins and Team 9 were a little irked by the sight. Naruto ignored them and looked at Sakura, who looked beaten and bruised. "Sakura," he stated, "what happened here? I returned for 9 minutes and this place is full of weaklings and annoyances." He ignored the glares being shot at him. Sakura quickly got out of her petrified expression. "Huh? Oh, those Odonins arrived, saying they were after Sasuke-kun." She couldn't help but feel nauseous looking at the corpse Naruto was holding. "Naruto, what is that?" she said while pointing her finger at the body. A corpse. He replied impassively. This earned a sweat drop from her. I meant, who is that person? She repeated. A core from a Taki team who were arrogant, thinking that they could take me on by themselves. In return, I burned them alive, he stated as he dropped the corpse. Ignoring the disgusted looks from Team 10, he looked at the Otonines in boredom. Why are you after Sasuke? He questioned while crossing his arms. Why would we tell you anything? The man covered in bandages questioned. Naruto didn't say anything, but knew he wasn't going to get any answers that easily. He grabbed his sword and charged towards them. He swung at the Dosu, but he dodged. He swung his left to hit him, but Naruto blocked it with his arm and punched Dosu in the face, sending him flying. Zaku tried to hit Naruto from behind, but Naruto ducked and sidekicked his left side, sending him flying and land towards the ground roughly. Kin used her Sanbon and tried to hit Naruto with them. He removed his sword out of his sheath and blocked the Sanbon coming at him. Naruto was about to use one of Jutsus when a dark aura emerged behind Sakura. He looked behind and saw Sasuke was standing up. His body was covered in marks and his Sharingan was active. Sakura looked at him afraid while Sasuke looked at her. Sakura, who did this to you? He said, looking enraged. Everyone was either surprised or scared by the power Sasuke was unleashing, except Naruto, who only looked amused by this aura. It was me. What are you going to do about it? Naruto had looked at Zaku. He was an idiot, but he sensed it again. Seriously, that aura? Naruto smiled widely. Some of them looked a little creeped out since he never smiled. Sasuke ignored Naruto smiling and charged at Zaku. Zaku tried to take out Sasuke's entire team with one swoop, maximum air cutter. He shouted while pushing his hands out, making large sound wave at Team 7. The air pushed some pebbles around while Team 10 was ducking underneath some bushes, and Dosu was protecting himself by the wave. Zaku didn't see them and thought he took care of them. Ha! Blew them all a dash. Was that it? Everyone looked at Naruto and were in shock. Naruto stood there. His kimono was ripped on the front, showing his chest, only his back remained the same. His left sleeve was torn halfway to his arm, and his hakama was ripped, showing half of his right leg. Either then all that there wasn't a single scratch on him. Not one. Zaku was about to use his jutsu again, but heard a noise behind him. He turned around and saw Sasuke holding Sakura and putting her down on the ground. Sasuke blitzes and appears beside Zaku. He punched him in the side of his face, sending him flying and landing beside Dosu. Sasuke did some hand signs at a fast pace. Katon, Hausenka, Fire Style, Phoenix Fire. Sasuke muttered. He shot 4 fireballs at the Otonines. Zaku used the sound to erase the fire, but were hiding shuriken in the fire. Zaku got hit with them and didn't notice Sasuke under him before he grabbed his arms. You seem really attached to these arms. Ashamed if something would have happened, not them, Sasuke said as he started to pull Zaku's arms. Zaku begged him to stop, but Sasuke didn't listen. He kept pulling on them and were about to break when he heard someone saying his name. Uchiha. Sasuke looked at Naruto, who was staring at him. That's enough. You've already showed him how tough you are. Quit wasting enough time as it is. Naruto stated impassively. Sasuke glared at Naruto. Naruto didn't want to fight him and always ignored him like he was a nuisance. He let go of Zaku's arms and started to walking towards Naruto. Nar, no, Michikatsu. Fight me, he demanded. Naruto walked away and was about to walk over to Sakura when Sasuke launched a jutsu at him. Katon, Gokaku no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu. Sasuke shouted as the fireball was directed towards Naruto, used a single hand to perform some hand signs before putting his hand on the ground, muttering, Hayaton, Hyohiki, Ice Release, Ice Wall. A large wall of ice blocked the fireball's path as it hit the wall, creating a dent towards it. Before Sasuke could run towards the wall, a mirror appeared in front of him. Haiden, Makio Hyosho, Secret Jutsu, Crystal Ice Mirrors. A fist came out of the mirror and punched Sasuke in the face, sending him to the ground on his back. Everyone was in shock after the ice jutsus. Sakura was more than shocked seeing the mirrors that Naruto used. It's just like those mirrors that Hunter Nin used, she said aloud, gaining looks from them. I'm warning you, Uchiha. This is your final warning. Naruto snarled as he got out of the mirror, glaring at Sasuke. Sasuke got up quickly and charged towards him. He tried to punch him, Naruto, but grabbed arm and shirt. He lifted Sasuke and throwed him by his back. Sasuke did a flip and landed on his feet and charged at him. Naruto dashed forward and tried to punch Sasuke, but he disappeared and reappeared beside him, kicking his left side. Naruto flew and landed on the ground roughly. He was about to stand up only to get kicked in the stomach by Sasuke. Naruto landed on the ground. A little blood spewed from his mouth. He quickly rolled out of the way as Sasuke was about to kick him. He quickly got up, doing a flip, and punched Sasuke in the chest, sending him flying a few meters away from him. Naruto got up only to feel pain around his body. He landed on one knee and vomited blood on his hand, and was coughing a large amount of blood profusely. Something was wrong with him. Everyone knew that something was wrong with Naruto/Michikatsu. Even Sasuke knew that something was wrong with him. Naruto wasn't well. After his encounter with Orochimaru, he had been struggling because his body was in pain, although he hid it well. Sasuke was confused. Despite his arrogance, he was smart enough to realize that something was wrong with Naruto. The amount of blood Naruto had coughed and vomited was unhealthy and couldn't have been caused by his attack. Sasuke fell on the ground as the black marks disappeared from his body back onto his shoulder. He felt a bit of pain on his neck, but it quickly disappeared. He got up again and looked at Naruto before looking away. He was too proud to ask the blonde what's wrong. He went to pick up the scrolls Naruto had dropped. Sakura didn't know what to do now. Sasuke was now awake, she could go to him, but Naruto wasn't well. He needed serious help and soon. She felt relieved as she saw Naruto got up. Naruto grabbed a seal from his hakama. He inserted chakra into the seal. A puff of smoke appeared before showing a heaven scroll. He threw it to the Otonines. Dosu caught the scroll. The Oto team looked at him confused. Consider it a trade. You leave us, we'll leave you, Naruto stated as he was wiping bloody out of his mouth. The Otonin looked a little skeptical at first before nodding and disappeared. Naruto walked towards his team. They nodded and jumped into the trees, leaving a Team 9 and 10 behind. Later, Team 7 finally reached at the tower just before it started to get dark. They have traveled comfortably without any other team confronting them. The scrolls had a summoning seal inside them. Their scroll summoned Irika, who explained to them the meaning of the scrolls and congratulated them on passing the second test. Irika told them where they ought to be the next exams. The Genins went inside the tower and got inside the area of where everyone else were. Naruto looked at the inside of the hall. The deadline had passed and all the Genins were gathered around in the room. It was only those who passed the second exam. The only people Naruto found to be interesting were Sabaku no Gaara, Rock Lee, Team 6, Aim and Kusanins, and Otonins. The other half were annoyances. All the Jounin senseis were all in the room. The Hokage was also sitting on the chair. Beside him were Anko and Ninja. Above the balcony where behind the Hokage stood, there was also a statue that showed arms holding a ram seal. Looking at the balcony and where they stood, Naruto could tell that the floor that they stood on was used for fighting, while the balcony was for the spectators. Anko stepped forward. Congratulations on passing the second test of the Chunin exams, she said, looking around the room. Many Genins had passed her test. She hadn't expected this many to pass. The Hokage will now explain the third exam, she said, giving the Sandaime Hokage to address the Genins. Everyone looked at the Hokage to hear what he was going to say. The Hokage cleared his throat and spoke. Before I explain the exams to you, I would like to tell you the true meaning of the Chunin selection exams. Why do we have allied countries taking the exam at the same time? Even some neutral countries. He paused to let them think before answering his own question. To promote friendship among countries, to raise the standard of shinobi. Do not be confused, this exam is war. The Genin grew confused and tension rose within the large room. If we did turn back at some point in time, all of us would be fighting other countries over who would rule. This wasteful fighting. For the third exam, lords from all the countries, as well as leaders of your villages, will all be watching your fights. You will fight with your life on the line, not to protect your homeland, but its prestige. If your country is seen weak, you'll lose clients. If you're strong, you'll gain clients, bolstering your homes. If your country is as strong, it will also send a message to all the nations. The Hokage paused for a moment to catch his breath. Isn't there another way to protect the village's prestige without having to risk our lives? Nora said, getting a few nods from the other Genin. The Sandaime narrowed his eyes at the Genins. The strength of the country is the strength of the village, such as the strength of the village is the strength of a shinobi. A shinobi's strength is only born in life-threatening battle. The Sandaime replied seriously. This exam only has a meaning because there are life-threatening battles. Friendship between countries require this. We call this friendship excising. The Hokage said as a man shunshined next to him and bowed in respect. Allow me to explain the rest of the third test. Hokage-sama. The man spoke looking at the Sandaime Hokage. The Hokage nodded and went back to his seat. The Jounin turned to face the Genins. I am Gecko Hate, the proctor of the third exam. The Jounin introduced himself. There is something we must do before the third exam. The Genins looked at the man. He looked really sick by the way he was coughing. There are to be preliminaries to decide who gets to participate in the main event. The proctor said, "What the hell preliminaries?" A bored-looking Nara asked the question. We have too many participants for the third test, thus we had to thin out the numbers under the Chunin exam rules. He paused for a moment before speaking. Those who wish to withdraw may step forward. This individual basis, should you quit, your team won't be penalized for it. Kabuto raised his hand and stepped forward. I quit. I'm low on chakra, he said, leaving the hall. Sakura was looking at Sasuke, but gave her that look, making her to not even bother telling him to forfeit because she knew he wouldn't listen. Hate coughed. Is there anyone else who wants to quit? He asked, getting the Genin's attention. No one else came forward. They had come this far and weren't going to go down without a fight. Okay, we have 31 contestants, which means we'll have 15 or 16 matches. The winners will advance to the finals. The rules are simple. There are no rules. The match continues until your opponent dies or knocked out. If you wish to give up, you can forfeit. I will step in if you're the winner or if you continue to beat your opponent. He paused, letting the Genins absorb his words. Now let us see who you'll be matched against, he said, looking at the black screen. This electronic screen will randomly select 2 contestants of who will fight at this time. Now let us begin. The Genin waited for their names to pop up on the screen. Naruto just looked at it blankly. He wished he didn't get someone who'd waste his time. 2 names appeared on the screen, Uchiha Sasuke versus Akado Yoroi. Some felt relieved that they weren't going first. Others were disappointed as they wanted to head it over with. Will the 2 contestants please step forward? The rest of you please proceed to the observation platform above. Hate spoke before coughing. The rest of the Genin present walked up to the stands to watch the first match, but Sakura was still worried about Sasuke until she felt a hand on her shoulder. Looking up, she saw it was Kakashi, who smiled at her. Don't worry, Sakura. He'll be just fine. Sakura smiled and nodded. Right? Kakashi looked over at Naruto and saw that he was calm. Well, Naruto, aren't you going to cheer for your teammate? Naruto said nothing for 2 minutes, using the transcendental world on Yoroi, whose chakra was doing something to his hands. Sasuke better takes this match seriously or he will fail. Sakura looked at him, as did the rest of the rookies. Even the Jounin present were looking at him. What do you mean by that? Ino growled at him. Explaining it to someone like you is a waste of time and breath, Naruto stated, not even looking at her. What was that? She yelled, prompting Shikamaru and Choji to hold her back. Troublesome, Shikamaru muttered. Sasuke and Yoroi stared at each other, sizing each up, but there was a dark gleam in his eyes. Hate looked at them, then announced, first match between Sasuke Uchiha and Yoroi Akado. Begin. Yoroi made a tiger hand sign. You ready? Sasuke took a stance. Let's go. The man's hand glowed with blue chakra, while the other hand grabbed a kunai and tossed it at the Uchiha, so Sasuke responded in kind by throwing a shuriken at the man, and it became a projectile battle. Sasuke gripped his neck all of a sudden, almost like he was in pain, but ignored it and came at Yoroi in a taijutsu battle. Yoroi's hand glowed blue again, and Sasuke noticed that he seemed to be wearing much to his notice. What is this? My strength is weakening, Sasuke thought in exhaustion. Sasuke-kun, look out! Sakura yelled. Sasuke looked up just in time to see Yoroi right in front of him, grabbing his forehead, slamming him down to the floor. Chakura-kun jutsu, chakra absorption jutsu. His hand glowed blue and Sasuke felt his chakra being absorbed. Naruto sighed disappointedly. So that's it. Sakura looked at him. What do you mean? That guy can absorb chakra. That's why I said Sasuke should have taken this more seriously, Naruto reminded. Sasuke glanced at the man. You're absorbing my chakra? Heh, so you finally noticed. But it's too late, Yoroi said arrogantly before he felt a kick to his gut, sending him away from the boy. Heh, so you still have energy left, huh? Sasuke got up slowly. I can't use my Sharingan or any other jutsu, otherwise I'll be exhausted. Yoroi charged at him. Now's not the time to be daydreaming. Before he could try to drain Sasuke completely, he was kicked in the face, sending him upwards off the ground. Lee's eyes widened when he realized what Sasuke was doing. "That's my dash." Sasuke appeared behind Yoroi, making his eyes widen. "Kagebayo? Dancing leaf shadow?" "Something like that," Sasuke said before wincing as his neck was in pain. "But from here on out, it's all original." He kicked the man in his left side, then right, then kicked him down before going to the final blow. Sure Rendan, Lion's Barrage. He sent the final blow to his stomach, knocking him out completely before landing on the ground himself, but not before sitting in complete exhaustion. Hate walked forward, winner of the first match, Sasuke Uchiha. "All right, I knew you could do it, Sasuke-kun," Ino yelled. "Troublesome." Shikamaru sighed. Sakura sighed in relief. Kiba scoffed. "Show off." Tenten frowned at Sasuke. "He stole that from Lee. Just what I expected from an Uchiha." Niji commented. Lee gripped the bars as he saw Sasuke did his own version of his move. Guy wasn't happy either. Team 6 scoffed. Team Aim, Kusa, and Odo snorted. Naruto looked at him unamused. How disappointing. Orochimaru smirked at the results. Kakashi appeared behind Sasuke and took him away somewhere, much to the others' confusion, but didn't think too long as the names rolled up on the screen again. Kankuro versus Shino. Naruto just watched with a rather bored look. At the beginning, one could think that Kankuro was going to lose, but Kankuro ending up winning the match without harm. Kankuro was a puppet user. Shino had thought his bugs had sucked out Kankuro's chakra. Unfortunately for him, the Kankuro the bugs were trying to extract chakra from was only a puppet. Shino knew that without his bugs being ineffective, he couldn't win this match, thus he gave up after he had failed to see how he could have won. Puppet users dealt with dangerous poison. To Naruto, poison wasn't a problem since he was a demon, he wasn't affected to them. Or the Kyuubi could have countered the poison as well. It would take some time, but there was no way he could die from poisoning. Naruto took this time to talk to his sensei. After entering the mindscape, he saw his master meditating on the ground. Kokushibo opened his eyes to see Naruto looking at him. "Sensei, my body was beginning to feel pain and was coughing profusely. Do you know why this happened?" Kokushibo stood there for a minute before speaking. "It was due to your body becoming a full demon. It had to take a while for you to completely transform into one." He explained to Naruto, who nodded. Naruto left his mindscape just in time to see the next opponents. Sakura versus Ino. Sakura turned towards Ino, who was walking back to the balcony after their little talk. Ino saw the names on the screen and gave Sakura a determined look, to which the girl returned. Both girls made it down to the arena and faced each other. Hate raised his hand. "Begin." Both kunoichi came each other and Sakura sent a kick. Ino's only way was to dodge. Ino tried punching Sakura, but she blocked it and tried to trip her, but Ino jumped and backed away from her. Sakura improvised and sent 3 kunai at her. Ino calmly grabbed a kunai and tossed it, deflecting both the kunais that were sent at her. Ami snorted at their fight. Those two didn't approve at all. What a pathetic display of battle, especially for a clan heir. Whoever trained these two are weak, Naruto said, ignoring the glare from Asuma and Kakashi. "I smile at him." "What are you talking about, Michikatsu-kun? Sakura-san will prevail victorious." Lee grinned. Naruto scoffed at his idea. Kashiwa looked at the two Leaf Nin in anger. "Such talentless kunoichi, they bring shame to that name." She started releasing a dark aura of anger, which made her other teammates scoot back a little from her, including her sensei. Mai looked at them in disgust. "Such pathetic kunoichi, how dare those weaklings bring shame to that name," she said while releasing a dark aura, making her teammates scared of her, including her sensei a little, who stayed in his spot. Temari scoffed at them. Kin looked at the two in rage and disdain. Dosu and Zaku were smart enough to not say anything that might piss her off more and scooted away from her. "Troublesome," Shikamaru sighed. The two girls continued their little academy skill fighting some more, before Ino finally got a jab by punching Sakura's stomach and was about to hit her face, but chickened out and slapped her face. Naruto's eyebrow twitched. Seriously, a slap? How pathetic. Sakura saw Ino's hesitation and clenched her fist. "All right, listen up, Ino." Ino blinked. "I'm not going to fight with you over Sasuke," Sakura told her. "What did you say?" Ino growled. "I'm not the weak, needy girl I used to be. You're not even on my radar, and you aren't Sasuke-kun's type, Ino pig." Sakura insulted. Ino glared at her. "Sakura, you'd better watch your step. Do you have any idea of who you're mouthing off to?" Don't press your luck with me, billboard brow, Naruto sighed. He wanted this fight to be over already. Seriously? They went from fighting to name-calling? This is just sad now. Sakura took her headband off, and the two of them had yet another stare down. Why the hell are these two getting so worked up? Naruto said. Kakashi looked at him. He can't see that it's the same way between him and Sasuke. Well, Sasuke is being the one who is always worked up around Naruto. Still, I wonder why Naruto avoids Sasuke whenever he wants to fight him. Ino got what Sakura was doing and took off her headband with a smirk. Heh, I understand. Sakura. Both girls put on their headbands around their foreheads, giving each other a determined look. This time we do this right. No holding back. A fair fight. And I'm going to win. They thought in unison. Both girls charged at each other, sending a punch that sent them both back away from each other until they charged at each other again. Sakura was doing some familiar hand signs. Tiger to boar to ox to dog. Two clones appeared on each side of the pink kunoichi. Just a plain old jutsu? Ino thought in confusion. This isn't an academy class. Do you honestly think you can defeat me with a jutsu like that? She stood still and took a stance. If I look carefully, I can find out which one is the real one. Sakura smirked. I'll send chakra to my feet for a burst of speed. And then, what? Ino's eyes widened when the clones sped up too quickly for her to do anything. So she blocked their attacks that didn't even hit her, allowing the real Sakura to land a punch right in her face, sending her sprawling backwards. Sakura stood up. I'm not some crybaby anymore. You play with fire. You'll get burned. Let's see your best. Ino got up slowly, wiping her face. It's not like I needed your invitation, you know? I'll give you my best, but you aren't going to like it. The girls came at each other once more, sending a punch only for them to grab hold of each other's fists and send each other flying back, but not before throwing shuriken at each other that canceled out. Lee was impressed with Sakura's skill. No matter how good Sakura is, Ino is just as good. This battle could rage on for quite a while. The fight between the two girls continued, and it felt like the battle was gonna keep dragging on forever. Man, since when did she get this strong? Ino thought, sending a punch. I can win this. I know I can. Sakura thought, sending her own punch. Both fists connected, sending both girls flying backwards away from each other. Kakashi sighed. At this rate, this battle will never end. Hate looked in between the two girls. This has been going on for so long. They've been at it for 10 minutes. Both girls were panting as they stood up slowly. This isn't how it was supposed to play out. How can you evenly be matched with me? Sakura smirked. Heh, I guess you're right, Ino. Your obsession with your looks and hair can't be surpassed. I've been training too hard to worry about that stuff. Ino glared at the comment, prompting her to take out a kunai. You're gonna pay for that. I've had enough of you making fun of me. What an idiot. Shikamaru said. She's fallen for Ino's trap. She's so riled up by Sakura, there's no telling what she'll do. Oh man, I hate it when she's like this. Choji said. Naruto wanted this worthless battle to be over already. This is taking too long. If that worthless kunoichi wasn't having fun goading with the blonde so much, she should have won. Instead, she's doing something idiotic. Ino did something that took Sakura off guard. She cut off her own hair, shocking Choji and Shikamaru. Heh, you'll think that'll help? Sakura smirked. Shikamaru's mouth twitched. Oh, I think she's totally lost it this time. That's it. Ino growled, then tossed her hair to the ground. See? I don't need this. Sakura simply stood there with a smirk, not bothered by Ino's outburst. All right, I'll put an end to this right now. Get ready to tell everyone you lost to me, billboard brow. Ino made a familiar hand sign. Could it be? Choji said. Sakura's eyes twitched. If I recall, that sign is... I knew I recognized it. It's the mind transfer jutsu sign. Shikamaru said. Oh man. Asuma scratched the side of his head. That fool. Naruto sighed. She does realize that if she misses, then it's all over for her. What is that imbecile thinking? Look, I know you're frustrated, but that's pointless. Sakura smirked. Oh yeah? We'll just see about that. Ino challenged. Shintenshin no Jutsu, ninja art. Mind transfer jutsu. It's a jutsu that allows the user to take over their opponent's spirit and control their body for a few minutes before discharging all of their spiritual energy and striking their enemy with it, Sakura stated. But despite its power, there are major flaws to this formidable jutsu that makes it extremely dangerous. First, the users discharged all of their spiritual energy can only fly straight, and it moves at a slow speed. Second, Even if it misses the opponent, the spiritual energy can't return to the user's body for several minutes, and this, in battle, are most often measured in seconds. I should add, while the spiritual energy is gone, your body, won't move at all. It'll be like a doll with no strings attached. The Shintenshin no Jutsu, ninja art. Mind transfer jutsu. It's a jutsu that's only used for spying. It's not a battle jutsu. Using that jutsu here will be a fatal mistake. Asuma thought, it's a powerful jutsu, but as long as Sakura can able to dodge it, it won't be a threat. Plus, if she can avoid it, she can attack Ino without resistance. If that happens, Hate will be forced to bring the match to an end. Kakashi thought, so what? I don't care. I won't know unless I try. Ino yelled. Sakura got ready to dodge. If you miss me, it's all over for you. Shikamaru gripped the railing, leaning down. She's only supposed to use that with me, so I can immobilize the enemy first with my shadow possession jutsu. If she uses it this way, it'll never work. There's no way she'll hit Sakura. Asuma thought. Sakura took off running. Don't do it. Shikamaru yelled. What a fool. Ami muttered. Shintenshin no Jutsu, ninja art. Mind transfer jutsu. Ino shouted. Everyone watched as both their bodies stilled and waited with bated breath to see if it worked or not. Ino's body fell to the ground limp and unmoving. Shikamaru's eyes were shaking. Did it work? Sakura stood there for a minute, then laughed. What an unfortunate choice. Ino? She smiled, lifting her head up. So it's over, right? Shikamaru observed. I can't believe she actually did it. Choji stared down in disbelief. You're finished, Ino. Sakura was moving towards Ino until her feet stopped abruptly. Sakura's eyes widened. No way. You fell for it, Sakura. Ino lifted her head. Ha! I finally caught you. It can't be. Sakura's eyes were shaking. I'm afraid it can. All those hand signs earlier were just a distraction to fool you, to trick you into running into the trap I've laid before you. And it worked. Now you can't move at all, can you? You're being held by a special rope that's being held by my hair, by chakra poured into it. Ino smirked. Sakura grunted. Now that you're trapped, I can take over your body and make you forfeit the match. Ino did the same hand signs as before. There's no way I'll miss with this jutsu now. Ami was surprised by this, but still smiled with a mocking grin. So losing was just an act 2. Shikamaru theorized. Shintenshin no Jutsu, ninja art. Mind transfer jutsu. Ino used the jutsu and took control over Sakura's body and smirked. Looks like I win. Sakura. She moved to raise her hand, only to stop midway and grip her head in pain, confusing everyone. What's going on? Lee yelled. Naruto spoke to Lee without looking at him. Sakura's trying to fight back. What? But how? Lee looked at him. Simple. Naruto shrugged. She refuses to let Ino have her way and is determined to prove she isn't going down without a fight. It's all about willpower. Ino was losing control on Sakura. No, I can't hold onto her. Release. She released the jutsu, sending her spirit back to her own body. No way. She actually shattered Ino's jutsu. Shikamaru stared in pure disbelief. She must have used too much chakra to use the jutsu to use it on her opponent, so the jutsu barely worked. Asuma thought, how can you have two spirits within you? Just what are you anyway? Ino questioned. Someone who is just as strong as she's beautiful, Sakura smirked. I mean, a girl's gotta be tough to survive something like this. Both girls stood up and slowly charged at each other one final time. This ends right now. Both girls sent each other flying as they hit each other backwards, and this time, both were too tired to get back up. Hate called it, since neither combatant is able to continue. By double knockout, nobody gets through the fourth battle of the preliminary. The match is over. Naruto looked at the two of them. Pathetic, he said aloud. Everyone nodded in agreement with his words. Kakashi and Asuma had the decency to look ashamed of their students. Those weren't ninja fighting. It was academy schoolgirls fighting over a crush. Had it been the finals, Konoha would surely had lose customers. If the Kunoichis fought the way Ino and Sakura fought, they would have been killed each time on a mission. If both girls were going to be serious about their careers, they need to understand what it means to be a ninja, or they would die soon and young. Naruto looked at the screen to see who was going next. Gaara's sister is going next then. HM? Naruto thought. Tenten versus Temari. Tenten appeared down at the arena with a smile. I'm so ready. After watching that last match, I'm fired up. Temari stood there with a smirk. So, there is another genin from Sunagakure, Niji observed. This should be interesting to watch. For the fifth match, Tintin, Temari, get ready. Hate told them. Both girls eyed each other, waiting for the match to begin. Tintin jumped back instantly. All right, Tintin, keep her guessing. Lee cheered. Go for it. You've got the power of youth. Guy yelled. Naruto, who was standing near them, twitched his eyebrow in annoyance. How annoying. What are you waiting for? I did say to begin. Hate eyed them both. Guess you're waiting for me to make a move. Big mistake, cause the first move I make will be your last one. Temari smirked, taking a step forward, making Tintin step back. Come on, I don't want this match over too quickly. So why don't you go first? Temari made a mocking gesture. Come on, little girl, show me what you can do. All right, if you insist. Remember, you've asked for this. Tintin jumped in the air, sending 3 shuriken at her. Temari still stood there with a smirk, and all of a sudden the 3 shuriken were on the ground. I missed her. There's no way. Tintin said in disbelief. What was that, a warm-up exercise? Or maybe you're just a little nervous and it's affected your aim. Is that it? Temari mocked. Tintin grunted. Rats, and I was hoping to work up a sweat. But forget that idea, this is the best you've got. Temari smirked. Tintin glared at her. What's going on? How could she have miss? Lee looked in disbelief. It's impossible. Tintin, aim is perfect. She always hit her mark. Guy said, not this time. Niji stated, she never misses. Guy insisted. There must have been something that made her miss. Huh. Lee said in confusion. You know, you can always count on Temari to put on a good show. Kankuro commented. Big deal. Gaara said uncaring. Okay, stay calm. Don't let her get to you. Tintin thought, 1, 2, 3. She must have dodged them somehow, but if I try a different approach, look at her measuring her distance. Here comes her big move. Temari grabbed her fan behind her back. So that's her secret, that fan she carries. Okay. Tintin then ran at Temari, taking out a scroll. All right, try this for size. Tintin said, jumping up in the air, twirling the scroll around, sending a barrage of weapons at the girl, only for Temari to deflect them quickly without anyone noticing, rendering them useless and on the ground. Tintin landed back down to the arena. No way. She stopped everything I've threw. What has she got in that fan of hers? Temari smirked. Take a look. This is the first moon. There are 2 more. Tintin glared at her. When you see all 3 moons, you'll know. You've lost the match. Temari stated. Tintin, don't let her play you. Maintain focus. Lee yelled. I know, Lee, I know. Well, I was planning on saving this for the finals, not wasted on a preliminary round. But it may be now or never. Tintin smiled, taking out 2 scrolls. She's using that already? Guy questioned. Niji said nothing and simply observed. It won't work whatever it is. Temari stated. Tintin ignored her and got to work. Bending down, she performed some hand signs. Tiger to dragon to monkey to hare to snake to cross arms. Sashoryu. Rising twin dragons. There was a burst of light as clouds gathered, blinding everyone, and soon 2 scrolls danced in the air as Tintin propelled herself upward, sending a barrage of weapons at Temari. I got her now. Temari giggled and sent her flying along with her weapons, making her skid to the floor. When she sat up, she saw the fan was open. Moon number 3. Temari grinned, then disappeared using her fan. Tintin's eyes widened. Where did she go? She's gone. Over here. Tintin looked behind her and saw Temari gliding on her fan, smirking up at her before landed before her. Now it's my turn. Kamaitachi no Jutsu. Ninja art. Wind Scythe Jutsu. Temari saved her fan and sent a wind cyclone at Tintin, engulfing her and sending her high in the air. Tintin. Lee yelled. Tintin's arms were cut up as were her clothes as she was completely defenseless in the air. Niji looked up. Temari's chakra is controlling the vortex. Lee looked at him confused. She fought well, but she'll never escape from that whirlwind. It's over. Niji said. Tintin came out of the whirlwind and landed right on Temari's fan on her back, making her cough up blood. Geez, talk about ruthless. Kiba gulped. How boring. Naruto crossed his arms. Tintin. Lee looked down. Wasn't much of a match, kind of boring. Temari stated, while looking at Tintin with disappointment. To be able to stop every single one of Tintin's attack like that. Guy commented. I still can't believe it. Lee said. Another win for Suna, great. Kazo said sarcastically, but the Suna team ignored him. Well, we're guaranteed a sweep in this round. Kankuro commented. Humph. Gara grunted. These guys aren't messing around, Momoko thought. The winner of the 5th match, Temari. Hate announced. Temari smirked. Lee, I suggest you grab your teammate. Naruto said, earning a confused look from Lee. Lee was confused at first, but he saw the Suna girl's demeanor and quickly jumped down from the balcony. Temari threw Tintin off her fan towards the sharp weapons on hit ground, but Lee caught her just in time. Temari smiled. Hey, nice catch. What's wrong with you? She may have lost this match, but that's no way to treat an opponent who tried her best. Lee yelled. Temari slammed her fan down. Oh, beat it. And take that sack of garbage with you. Lee charged at her. No, Lee. Lee. Niji yelled. Lee was about to use Konoha Senpu until he felt someone grabbing his back. Huh? He turned around and saw it was Naruto that grabbed his back. Michikatsu-san, stand down, Naruto told him. When it's your turn to fight, you can go wild as much as you want. Leave this Suna dog to her musings. Lee nodded and went over to pick up Tintin. Temari glared at Naruto for calling her a dog, but he ignored her and jumped back to his area while Lee picked up Tintin gently as the medics came to get her. Temari walked back to her area and stand next to her brother. Did any of you see him move? She said while narrowing her eyes at him. I didn't. He's got some moves. Kankuro replied while looking at him. Gaara was staring at Naruto intently. Those guys from Suna are strong. Sakura said, appearing next to him. Welcome back, Sakura. Kakashi commented. Welcome back, Sakura-san. Lee said while doing some gestures towards her. Sakura smiled. A puff of smoke appeared. It was an ANBU, and next to him was Sasuke. He still wore the same clothes as before, but he looked well. Sasuke, you're back, Sakura said. She was happy to see her crush was alright. Ino was ecstatic as well, but Sasuke ignored the two and stood beside Naruto. Kakashi smiled at the ANBU before the ANBU whispered something into his ear. Kakashi nodded. Before the ANBU disappeared, Kakashi turned at Sasuke. You sure you're feeling alright? Sasuke nodded before staring at the board. The names on the board shuffled again on 2 names. Naruto looked at the names on the board. He hated what he saw. Naruto Uzumaki versus Kiba Inuzuka. For the 6th match, will Naruto Uzumaki and Kiba Inuzuka step forward? Naruto looked at the name with hatred. Veins were showing from his head. Everyone saw this and wondered why he hated the name so much. Sasuke knew he didn't like to be called Naruto. But why? What was he so upset over that name? Sakura knew Naruto never liked that name. She didn't ask him why either, because either it was personal or was afraid of seeing his angry face, which she never saw before. Kakashi was about to talk to him before he jumped from the balcony and walked to the arena. Let's get this over with, he muttered. Kiba was grinning. He felt confident in his abilities. With all the training he has been doing, he believed that he could defeat Naruto. He knew how Naruto fought ever since they were at the academy. He believed in his own abilities. With Akamaru by his side, he could beat anyone. Are both fighters ready? Hate said. Kiba nodded. Naruto gave no response. Hate took the silence as a yes. Begin. I'm going to take you down, Naruto, or Michikatsu, or whatever your name is. Kiba spoke aloud with a confident grin. Akamaru barked, agreeing with his master's words. Naruto made no sign that he heard Kiba's words. Hey, did you hear me? Again, Not didn't respond. Hey, I'm talking to you, bastard. Kiba yelled out, a bit of anger at being ignored. Will you attack me already and stop being annoying? Naruto finally spoke. Kiba grinned. Let's do this, Akamaru, he said to his dog partner. Akamaru barked in acknowledgement of Kiba's words. Spectators. Kakashi looked at Naruto as if he was studying him. Naruto was acting differently. He wasn't told in detail of what happened to them during their encounter with Orochimaru. He was only interested in that they were alive, and the cursed mark Orochimaru had given to Sasuke. He had sealed the curse mark Orochimaru had given him, but wasn't sure if it would hold. Looking at Naruto, he could tell that something was wrong. He looked at his two genins, Sasuke, Sakura. Sasuke and Sakura looked at their sensei. What's wrong with Naruto? Sasuke shrugged, while Sakura looked at her sensei in confusion as they saw nothing wrong with him. Kakashi sighed, seeing their responses. Did something happen to him during his encounter with Orochimaru? He asked another question. Sasuke and Sakura were quiet for a moment. They looked at each other for a minute before turning to their sensei. I think you should ask Naruto that question, Sasuke said to his sensei. Sakura nodded in agreement. Kakashi shrugged. He turned back to watch Naruto and Kiba's fight. Hinata felt a bit excited because she was going to see Naruto fight. She'd never seen him fight ever since they became genin. He was always the source of her strength. She believed that she would fight bravely in her match should Naruto win his match. Shikamaru and the other genins just watched on to see Naruto's fight. They wanted to see what was he capable of with their own eyes. Their senseis said that he was strong and were right, but felt like he was holding back. Fighting floor, Kiba bended down and placed his hands on the ground. Akamaru jumped in front of him. Jujin Bunshin, man-beast clone. Akamaru turned into Kiba. They both looked animalistic compared to their normal selves. Getsuga, man-beast ultimate taijutsu. Fong over Fong. Kiba yelled as he took a spinning form of a vortex. The spinning vortex sped at Naruto at a fast pace. Naruto just stood there with his hands still crossed at his chest. He waited for Kiba's attack to reach him. Kurenai looked at Naruto. What is he thinking standing there like that? If he gets hit, this match is over. She thought, wondering why Naruto isn't trying to dodge Kiba's attack. She knew Kiba's offensive attack was powerful and could cause a lot of damage if it hit. It was almost impossible to block. The only way to escape was to dodge it. She'd never attempted to block the attack. The spinning vortex reached Naruto, and when it was about to hit him, it missed. Kiba hit the ground and continued to spin furiously as it dug through a hole on solid ground. The Getsuga came out again from the ground and charged at him. Naruto, it missed him again. The same sequence continued several times. None of the attempts hit Naruto. Several holes were made in the ground. What shocked many who were watching was that Naruto was still in the same position that he was in. His hands still crossed on his chest while surrounded by many holes. Go Michikatsu-kun. Ami cheered, gaining looks from other genins, an angry Hinata, amused looks from her team and sensei, angry looks from Sakura and Ino, Ong2 glares from the girls in Kusa, Aim, and Odo. Kiba stopped his attack and returned to normal. His fruitless attacks seemed to have taken a lot of chakra from him because his breathing was slightly labored. Stay still, you bastard, so that I can hit you, he yelled in frustration. He tried the Getsuga again, but the results were the same. Naruto looked at the genin. Is that all you can do? He said, how pathetic. His hands dropped from his chest, and he blurred out of sight. He appeared in front of Kiba and kicked the genin in the face, sending him crashing towards a wall. Akamaru had jumped up and didn't flew with Kiba. Cracks appeared on the wall where Kiba had hit. Akamaru barked as he charged at Naruto, looking at bite him. Naruto kicked the puppy by its side, making him hit a wall, shocking everyone. Akamaru! Kiba yelled, seeing his friend. He blindly charged at Naruto. Naruto turned to face the genin. Kiba attempted to punch Naruto in the face, but Naruto caught his hand and squeezed it. On! Kiba cried out as Naruto was crushing his hand. Naruto kneed Kiba on his gut. He let go of Kiba's hand and punched him with his left hand. His right followed another powerful punch, hitting his temple, sending him flying away from him. Kiba was slowly standing up. His vision was blurry and was walking towards Naruto slowly. Naruto removed his sword out of his sheath and stabbed it into the ground, confusing the genins who were watching. He quickly did some hand signs, Katon, Jigaku no Hano, Fire Style, Hellflame. Naruto created a haze of fire and threw it at Kiba's direction. Kiba didn't have time to react as the flames came at him and surrounded him till the flames roamed high to the balcony. Kiba! Team 9's team shouted. Everyone's eyes widened when they watched the Inuzuka go up in flames. Hade eyes widened, not expecting this outcome. The Hokage was surprised, but hidden behind it was shocked, seeing the brutality Naruto showed, meaning that he doesn't care for anyone in the Leaf. The Odo, Kusa, and AIM teams looked at him in shock. They knew that he was brutal, but this was on a whole other level. Team 6 was shocked by the brutality. Even their sensei was surprised. Except Ami, who looked like she was in love with Naruto even more. So hot. Ami drooled a little. The flames died down. Kiba was on the ground, motionless, his back on the floor, his clothes burned. He was unconscious. Naruto opened his right hand as lightning sparked from his fingers. He zapped Kiba, who stood up and was coughing and breathing hastily. Naruto grabbed him by the collar with his left hand. He lifted him up and punched him in the face with his right hand, making him walk backwards next to his sword. Naruto disappeared and reappeared behind Kiba. Then he grabbed the back of his head and pushed at the back of the sword. Hard. Kiba was dizzy. He couldn't walk straight as he felt the world was spinning around him. Naruto kicked him in the back of his leg, making him fall to his knees. He grabbed the back of his head again and pushed it to the ground. He pulled and pushed his head about 3 times before walking away, leaving a burned, bruised, and bloody Kiba. How brutal, some of the genins thought watching the fight. The only person who smiled was Gaara. Naruto stood still waiting for Hate to call the match. Hate stepped forward. Kiba is unable to fight. The winner is Na Dash. He was cut off by Naruto. Michikatsu Takuni. Naruto stated before walking back to the balcony. Michikatsu Takuni. Hate finished as medical Nin came to get Kiba. When Naruto arrived at the balcony, he found Yuhi Kurenai waiting for him. Kurenai stared at Naruto with a bit of anger in her eyes. She was angry that Naruto for what he did to her student. She believed there could have been other ways to end the match. Naruto walked past her without sparing a glance. Kurenai grabbed his hand and held it firmly. Naruto narrowed his eyes at her. "I suggest you let go of my hand before I chop your arm off." He threatened her. Kurenai ignored his threat. "Was it necessary to beat my student like that?" "Yes, because he was pathetic." Kurenai gritted her teeth and held Naruto's hand tighter. "Besides, it's your fault that he was weak in the first place." Kurenai's glare darkened. "Excuse me?" She demanded him. "You're too soft. That's the reason why I did that to him. He was weak. Weakness disgusts me." "You're a pathetic excuse of a sensei. Your 2 genins have been defeated easily. It's only a matter of time until the last one is either dead or unconscious. You're a failure of a sensei, failure of Team 9, and a failure for Yakumo." Kurenai's red eyes were burning with hatred. Not only had he insulted her, he insulted her students and her status as a jounin. When she heard Yakumo's name, she finally snapped. "How do you know Yakumo?" She shouted at him, demanding for an answer. He didn't reply. This infuriated Kurenai. She was about to put him in a genjutsu when she felt a hand on her shoulder and saw that it was Kakashi who was smiling at her. "Let it go, Kurenai," he said with a smile. "You're causing a scene." Kurenai looked around the room and saw that everyone was looking at them. Naruto harshly pulled his hand away from Kurenai, hurting her a little as he walked back to his team. Kurenai glared at Naruto before returning to Hinata's side. Kakashi smiled at Naruto. "You should take it on your fellow genins, Naruto." Naruto looked back at him. "No, I despise weak people. Weakness disgusts me." He turned away from him. Giving them genins confidence will only continue the battle. With confidence, it will only drag the battle on more. He didn't enjoy dragging on fights he found annoying. It's why he chooses to end them quickly and brutally. The screen on the board showed the name on the contestants of the next battle. Ami versus Nora Ugi. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed exploring this What If with me. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Your support truly makes a difference, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Until next time, take care and stay tuned for more.